Hey, yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy FRE, $H Fresh at Flyboy Way. That's THEFLYBOYWAY. Don't ask why, just check out the channel. And welcome back to a Money Talk Monday. Hold on, let me get my health supplements in. As you get older, you want to make sure you get all the nutrients you need to be able to function and move right, because a lot of people don't know, but with time your body, it don't move the same way it's supposed to be moving, and you want to keep up with nutrients. I'm gonna shout you guys out in a minute, but as y'all can know, we are back with Money Talk Mondays. Now, it may not be every Monday. Excuse me while I'm chewing this for a little bit and get some people some time to join the room. I'm give you guys a backup information of all the stuff. As you can see, the office for live streaming and for stuff, for editing videos. Hold on a second. One second. Give me a second. Okay. As y'all can see, the office for live streaming and doing videos and stuff is getting better. Oh, this mic, that's what it is. It's getting better. Little by little, it's gonna come together some more. I do want to get like a better setup. I did go get another mic because my last mic cord broke or something like that. So I'm still trying to adjust everything. We're getting back to doing the Money Talk Mondays as I start to continue my process on buying my first international place. As you guys know, I used to own. That's serious. It sounds crazy. For 5 years, almost 5 years. It would have been 5 years in October. I used to own a condo in Miami Beach on the water. I do want to place an intro video so that we can start at the 5-minute mark, give people some time to come in. I'm gonna shout people out who are here already in the morning. Already in the room. Shout out to Habitual Travel in the room. Yo, Habitual Travel, congratulations, salute. Appreciate that, man. You know it's been a long time coming. We'll get more into that after the 5-minute mark, y'all. H, what's going on? Appreciate the congrats. KP, man, you showed us some baddies in Cali. Listen, that wasn't even all of them, y'all. I got some more Cali videos dropping, so bear with me, y'all. I think I'm done with the Instagram for now. But I got a lot more that's gonna drop on YouTube. So y'all stay tuned, hit the notification. Appreciate it. Congratulations. Z1 in the building. What's going on? Traveling beer. What up? I appreciate it. It wasn't really a flip, but it kind of was a flip. We'll get more into that after the 5-minute mark. I want to give people a chance to come in the room. I'm going to share the open the intro video for when I brought my property, and it's going to be like a short playthrough. I don't know if I'm going to be able to play the music per se, because I do need to monetize this a little bit, only because I wanted to get out to as many people as possible. We'll see. Shout out to Like Travels. Appreciate that, man. Xavier Monroe. Appreciate all the congrats, y'all. Chestnut in the building. And Angel Garcia. What's going on? All right, so let's see if we can play, because I think it's important that I can play it. Let me see if I can play something, y'all. Give me a second, y'all. I want to see if I can play. Oh, I don't want to get to that part yet. I want to get to the YouTube first. So let me go to YouTube. My Baltimore accent. Jersey in the building. Let's see. All right, so let's go to YouTube. Let's go to the Flyboy Way. Let's go to my channel. Let's go to my playlist. From playlist, let's go to Miami Beach, South Beach Lifestyle. It should be in the South Beach Lifestyle. Here we go, right here, full playlist. Let me see if I can find something that's not I want to find something that's not. We play for a little bit. Now what I do is I'll mute it after the first intro. All right, so I'll mute it after the first, so we don't get the copyright black on it, so it can get to many people as possible. All right, hold a second. All right, so let's share the screen. We are almost at the 5-minute mark, so we can start the conversation mark, and we'll do it like this. All right, what's going on, Travel POV? All right, y'all. I might have to turn the fan on, even though I have the air conditioner in the other room. The fan sometimes picks up the sound, so I don't really want to do that too much. Black Excellence. Shout out to Ellis Durrell in the building. Man, big Cali things, y'all. Big Cali things. All right, so we're going to just start at the 5-minute mark. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to start by playing the video of the time when I actually signed the deed to my condo in Miami Beach. And then we'll get into conversation. Now, for those who don't know, I'll give a start to finish conversation about everything, and then we'll get into where we're at now. So let's start the video and just play it, y'all.
That's it. Signed. Yes. But they fear the independent man. They fear the nigga who goes out.
All right, so we'll let that go in the background. All right, y'all. So check this out. Give you guys an update. In 2017, I brought my first. How did I save the money? I saved the money from when I put money in my 401k when I was 20 years old, and somebody at my job said, "Yo, you got to do something to invest. You don't want to be working here for your whole life." It was an older man. Shout out to Kingston. I mean, from Grenada, and rest in peace. He told me at 20 years old that I got to do something with my life. I can't just work here forever. It's not going to be a thing. Mind you, I'm 20 years old. I'm making like $22 an hour, like what, 18 years ago, right? 18 years ago. I'm making $22 an hour, and I'm 20 years old. Dog, I'm living. To me, at minimum wage at the time was $7. I'm making $20, $21, $22 an hour. Super dope. But he said you got to invest. So I started putting money in. He told me about the 401k, and that you can put money in your 401k, and FedEx will match you, because that's what I work at. FedEx will match you with the money that you put in up to 6%. So I said, you know what? I could put 6% of my income in. That's not really a lot. It's not like 15 or 12. I put 6% of my income in. So with my 6% and FedEx 6% over 12 years, especially with the market going crazy, I was able to have $60,000 in it at the age of 32. So at the age of 32, I had $60,000, and I had access to $30,000 I could take out. I took that $30,000 out. Of that $30,000 I took out, 24,000 of it I used to put down on my first house in West Orange, New Jersey. I knew I didn't want to have a house where it's a one family, because I realized that if you want to get your dream house, it's important, or your dream place, your dream condo, it's important that your first house, maybe even your first and second house, isn't a one family house, because a one family house you're not going to produce any income from unless you're renting it to a room to a friend, which could be a hassle as well. So I got a duplex. For people that don't live in New Jersey, and they may not have duplexes, what a duplex is that there's two separate units in the house. There's the first floor and there's a second floor. Sometimes there is also a basement, but the basement apartment is not like an apartment you can literally like rent out like that. So the place I bought had a first floor, a second floor, and a basement. But I knew I wasn't going to rent the basement to anybody, because it was going to be a thing. So I lived on the first floor. I rented the second floor, and I let my friend stay in the basement. So I had the first floor and the basement, and I let my friend stay in the basement. 2017, I bought this house in January 20th, crazy, when presidents. January 20th, 2017, I bought this house. By January 20th, 2018, by 2018, I know it was January, but in 2018, I was able to buy another house because of the did not buy a one-family house. And my house appreciated, and I was able to take money out, take a HELOC out, and buy another house. 2018. In 2019, I was like, I finally was able to move into the house I live in now in Newark, and I was able to stack some bread, and then the pandemic happened. We had issues with tenants, was able to move things out, get everything straight, and then they let you take out the rest of the $30,000 that I had in there for emergency purposes. So I took that other $30,000, had some emergency purposes I had to pay for, and then I used the rest to get the dream place that I wanted. Remember, I told you guys, your first and your second house should never be a one-family house. And the reason why is because once you get that one-family house, you're stuck in it. I'll play that for a little bit. You're stuck in it. Once you get that one-family house, you're stuck in it. We're gonna go back to the big screen, y'all. Give me a second. All right. Once you get that one-family house, you're stuck in it. So I didn't do it for the first house. I didn't do it for the second house. Now the next one, I'm going to do it. I wanted to buy a place internationally, but at the time during COVID, you couldn't really go to Colombia, and that was the place where I decided I wanted to buy my place. And I was like, I want to go into Mexico, but they wouldn't let me refinance because everybody was going crazy during COVID. So they wouldn't let me refinance to get the amount of money I needed, because you got to pay all cash in most places to get the place I wanted in Mexico. So I decided to buy a place in Miami Beach. my condo in Miami Beach. The condo in Miami Beach, and I'm going to show you guys again. I want to show you guys because I think it's very important to have receipts. I'm going to show you guys the price I bought it for, and this is all public information. So you guys can always just go on Zillow.com, and this is why I tell a lot of people believe people without doing the research. It's so easy to find the receipts, or they don't believe a person when it's so easy. West Avenue, 905 Miami Beach. When it's so easy to go online and find any receipt that you want. And that's the crazy thing to it. And I think that's the biggest flaw that a lot of people have when they're trying to get their finances. They just go what people say and they never check the receipts. They just go what people say. All right, so we're in Zillow.com right now, right? This is the place that I used to own. I gotta get used to saying I used to own it. It was 800 West Avenue, Unit 905. As you can see, this estimate is 220 because I just sold it for 220. But here's where I was telling you guys in 2020, I brought this in October. We're going to go all the way down, scroll all the way down to here on Zillow. You can see it, and you can actually see when it was bought. You can show more, and then show you when it was bought and sold. Now, hopefully it still does. All right, cool. So as you can see, on October, I don't know why it says November. Was it November? No, I closed on October 30th. All right, so I closed on October 30th. But for some reason, I guess whatever reason it takes, the sale finally went through on 11, or the paperwork finally went through on Zillow on 11/10/2020. That was the purchase I brought it for. I brought it for $167. Now, as you guys see on the title, I'm telling you guys I made a $40,000 profit, but I'm considering what I actually physically put in versus what I actually physically put out. What I'm going to tell you guys is I actually physically, even though I had to show 60,000, a little bit over 60,000, I literally had to have cash when I went to closing with 50,000 or 50,000 and some change. And what I literally got back after I got the sale, because the sale is done, I got the money, was $91,000 and some change. That's not including the refund I'm getting of $1,500 for my insurance, because I feel as though that's a separate amount of money, because that, even though that was part of the mortgage, it's completely separate. So I won't add that $1,500 to it. I'll just say I walked away from selling my place with $91,000, 91,000 and some change. And if I subtract that from the $50,000, round up to $51,000, I walked away with $40,000 profit off of the sale of my place. That includes the relative fees. Because I lived there 3 years, I don't have to pay capital gains tax. And for those that don't know, Florida doesn't have state tax, so I didn't have to pay state tax on the sale either. So the only thing I would have had to pay if I didn't live there for 3 years is the capital gain tax, which I didn't have to pay, and the relative fees. Now, yes, you can negotiate the relative fees, but if you really want yourself to sell, you pretty much still got to give each realtor 3%. So 6% of the price that I sold it from is what came out of the 220 that I sold the property in my condo in Miami Beach from. That took about a year and a half. Give or take. I'm gonna show you. We're gonna walk through the process because we have the thing up here. I just want to make sure you guys can see. All right, we have it up here, so we're gonna walk through the process, and I'm gonna get to your comments and stuff eventually. But we want to just walk through the process to people that's just coming in. So I bought the place for $167. Eventually, during 2021, it went up to $300,000. Like, if I had open door, I had different in 2021 was the last time. It was different companies that buy houses just straight off with a click of the button. They wanted to buy my place for $300, but I didn't want to buy it. I was like, I didn't have any issues. Then somewhere around 2021 at the end, or 2022 at the beginning, because of what happened with the Champlain Towers in Miami Beach. For those that don't know, there was a big tower. It was a big condominium thing on the beach, also on Miami Beach, but it was more on the sand. I'm on the bay. I was on the bay. Sorry, I don't know anymore. I was on the bay. This happened on the sand, that the condo collapsed. And when the condo collapsed, 90 people died. Rest in peace. But what that caused is it caused the whole government to go into frantic because everybody was worried about all the other condos. So the government rushed and made some laws that then made it impossible for many people to really own condos in Miami Beach. Now, for me, it wasn't an issue because, as you guys know, at the time I owned two houses still, and I still do now, but I own two houses in New Jersey. and I wasn't really living there. So I do YouTube. So I was able to have the money to keep everything going. But I seen in the future that, hey, this may be a problem. Because let's say my water my air conditioner breaks, I gotta fix that. Then there's going to be an assessment eventually to fix the regular police. That's going to be more money, and these assessments were high. So I said, hey, let me not be greedy. This is the time I need to get out and do what I originally wanted to do. What I originally wanted to do was buy a place in Colombia, Barranquilla. I didn't have the money from the start. Remember, I put 50,000 down, and that's all I could manage to have. 50,000 down when I bought the place. The average price of the place I wanted that you had to pay for cash in Colombia at the time was 60,000. So I didn't even have a chance to even do that. So now that I knew I was going to come off with a profit and say, yo, let me get this done. So as you can see, I rented it. I listed for rent for 2,300. It didn't rent. Mind you, this is after my son came to live with me. Because remember, the major reason why I moved back to Jersey is because my son came to live with me. So, 20, I had it for 2,300, right? And then I didn't get that rented. 2,200, I didn't get that rented. Finally, I got it rented for $2,050. Cool. That was in 2023. In they actually didn't move in September. He moved in like November. But it says September. I put the change here and listen. Right, listen removed in November because that's when he started renting it. 11/9. So mind you, from November 2023, I rented it for $2,050, and my mortgage at the time was $1,700. So I was making this mortgage included insurance, including property tax, and including HOA fees was 1,700. So I was making, and this is walking you guys through. I was making, and this is for people who don't know. We'll get to where we're at now eventually. Just bear with me. I just want to get through this, and then we'll get to your comments, and then we'll get to the next part. I was making about $300, almost about $300, $350 off of every month. So every month after I cleared 350 from having a tenant there. So from November 2023 until it finally sold in this in last month, 8/20, I was making $300 extra every month just going in my pocket after all bills were paid, and I was able to write a lot of stuff on for my taxes. Now here, just to show you guys how difficult it was to sell because of the Champlain Towers and the new laws they made in Miami, in Florida rather. I listed the price originally. I told you they was going for in 2021. It was going for 300,000, but I listed it for 275. In 2 months, it didn't sell, so I dropped it $10,000, almost a little bit more $10,000 to 264. A month, 3 months later, it didn't sell, so I dropped it another $10,000 to 254,000. And another month, it didn't sell. And again, I wasn't in a rush to sell it. So I didn't, I even because I remember I'm still getting $300 a month off of it. And they pushed back the need to have reserves for another 2 years. So I still had another year from now to really get to sell it. So I wasn't in a rush to drop it to the bottom price. I just wanted to see what price would hit. So I just kept lowering it and lowering it little by little to see what price could hit. There was a bottom number, and I didn't reach that bottom number, but there was a bottom number that I knew of 200,000 that I said, hey, at 200,000, I might as well just keep the place. The reason why I said this is because I'm still going to have to pay realtor fees, and I will break even and maybe make about $10,000, but it won't be enough for me to go purchase the property in Colombia that I really wanted to do. So I say, okay, 200,000 is the bottom, but I'm not telling my realtor that. I'm not telling the sellers that. I'm just keeping it in my head that $200,000 was the bottom. Because again, remember, y'all, I brought it for 167. So if I brought it for 167 and my bottom number that I was selling for was 200, that means I would make about $2,300. My fault. $33,000 off the sale. But again, after relative fees, I'm making maybe 20, maybe $15,000. Plus, I had other stuff I had to pay. So maybe I only make $14,000 if I sell it at my bottom part. That's still better than getting stuck into whatever condo madness is going to come up in the future in Miami or in Florida. But for me, what I wanted to do, it wouldn't have helped me do it. It would have been, I would have had to cut back on a lot of stuff to be able to do it. But again, so I lowered it from 254, $5,000 to 249. Then I knew summer was coming up and I wanted to make a move, so I lowered it from 249 to 240, from 240 to 235, and then as spring started, or not summer, but spring started, because everyone knows spring and summer is the most time when places are sold. I said I gotta give it this all. Let me give it one more big hurrah and again, this is during the spring. At the end of summer, I was going to go flat to 200 and say, yo, this is it. But it didn't make it that way, because I went from 235 to 220. And when I went from 235 to 220, I started getting a lot of calls. This is the lowest price. And the place was the biggest. It was the biggest, one of the biggest studios in the unit. It was way bigger than anything in the area you could buy at that price range. So it's at 220. It was at 220, and now I'm getting 4 or 5 calls a week. I'm getting on 3 or 4 calls a week. I'm getting 3 or 4 calls a week after this. Look how close between when you had a pinning sale and when the price change was. It really was only a month, but it looks like almost 2 months. So I'm getting offers. I'm not getting lowball. I got 1 or 2 lowball offers, but then eventually I started getting offers. Then finally I got an offer. I got 2 offers. I got 3 offers at that price, but 1 offer was a cash offer. I said, let me go with the cash offer, because during this time where the condos are having issues and people need reserves and banking is going crazy, if you go for a financing offer, it's a chance that might fall through. But a cash offer, and the person was from Italy, so it was a cash offer from an investor overseas, it's guaranteed almost to sell. It's almost guaranteed to sell once they show they have the proof of funds. And once they show they have the proof of funds, I said boom. So yeah, perfectly. So then what did I say? So then I end up and mind you, my condo is a luxury Airbnb. It's a luxury Airbnb, meaning we have waterfront access. A luxury waterfront. My condo was the condo I owned. I don't own it anymore. Was a luxury Airbnb. It had a store in this thing. It had concierge service 24/7. It had mail service. It had a pool, a heated pool, a jacuzzi, heated jacuzzi. It had a. You guys go back and watch the South Beach lifestyle videos. There's over 100 videos I did in South Beach lifestyle in Florida, Miami Beach, Florida, and around the surrounding areas that you can go back and see on my channel. So finally, let's get to it. I sold it on last month, 8/20, for $220. So let's recap, y'all. Let's recap real quick. So I brought the place. I'm going to do the math. You do the math on the calculator if you got one. I'm doing it on my phone, so I get this right with y'all. I sold it for $220,000. Right? I brought it for $167,500. That's $52,000 just without anything, without any fees and stuff. That's $52,000 profit simply off the sale. This is not the profit I consider profit, because I didn't get all that $52,000. Now, mind y'all, there were some things I did, like when my tenant gave me rent in advance. I needed the money for something, so I paid some bills off. So I had to pay that money back with my closing. That was $4,000, $4,100. So 52 minus $4,100, and that left me with $48,000. And let me see. And then let's see. And then let's see. Let me go back. All right, hold up 1 second. And then the place sold for $220,000 times 0.06, which is 6%. So that's $13,000. But remember, I had $13,000. All right, cool. So $13,000. Boom. So 13,200 plus the 4,100 that I owed ends up being a total subtraction of $17,300. So I owed $104,000 on the place still. So 220 minus 104,000 minus what was the other one? 1730. 1730, my fault. Ends up being 98,000. Now with closing, I didn't know that you had like some kind of closing fees. So it was some kind of closing fees also included in that. So I end up walking away with 91,000 and some change. Now I'm gonna get to y'all comments, and then we're gonna get into the next part, y'all. I'm gonna get to y'all comments now, and then we get to the next part. Just for everybody that's shouting out, just coming in to the building lately. Let me get to y'all comments. Let me make the widescreen again. Can I make the widescreen? Stop sharing. All right, cool. All right, let's get back to the widescreen, y'all. All right, Let me see. All right, here we go. Invisible Hawk, what's going on? Salute. Appreciate that, man. Traveling Beard. So will you purchase another home in America so you won't have to pay capital gain taxes? No, I will not be doing the 1036 thing. What 1030? I'm probably 10. Hold on, let me see. Make sure I'm getting it right. 1030 exchange. All right, 1031. Yes, I won't be doing a 1031 exchange where I take the profits and the price of one property and use it in another property of equal or higher value so that I can write off the taxes because I don't have to pay taxes because remember, Florida doesn't have state tax. Well, I do have to pay taxes, but I have a how do I say this? I have a tax benefit. Um, Whereas I lived there for 3 years. I lived there from 2021 to 2023. So 2 years, 2.5 years, almost 3 years. So I lived there for 2.5 years, almost 3 years. If you live in a place for 2 years in the last 5 years before you sell it, you were able to write off up to 250,000 as an individual and up to 500,000 as a couple. I'm a single man. I was able to write up to $250,000 of profit. I only made 40,000 profit or 50,000 to them it'll be 58,000. I only made 58,000 profit, so that falls under the 258. So I don't have to pay any taxes on that profit I made because it's a federal tax. Now on a state level, Florida doesn't have state taxes at all, so I don't have to pay any state taxes. So that 48,000 or 58,000 that they're going to consider a profit, it's in my pocket. That would aside from everything I had to pay, I showed y'all, it's in my pocket. Let me see. And I don't plan on buying any more places in the United States. I own two already. Nate States, I'm here to learn. Appreciate that, Nate State. Shout out to Mentuition in the building. Make sure y'all hit up them channels with Nate State and Mentuition, y'all. The Keymaker. Congratulations. I appreciate that, Keymaker. It's the card in the building. What up? Tribal POV. Less than 200,000 on the beach is insane. It depends, Tribal POV, because a lot of people don't understand just because a place that's on the beach is not physically on the actual sand or on the water. It could just be in Miami Beach. So a lot of places that are on the beach aren't actually on the beach. They're like in the middle of Miami Beach. So it's technically, you know what I'm saying? So like my place was on the water. Like I can go to my backyard and go to the pool and like dip my foot into the bay. So like that is what you consider waterfront property. I actually have waterfront property. But those waterfront properties, yes, it's rare you're gonna get a waterfront property for 200,000. Right now, maybe simply because a lot of people don't understand or don't know, not understand, but don't know what's going on with the condos and what laws they're gonna make. So a lot of people are trying to say, hey, am I gonna stick through it or am I gonna just sell? And for me, I said, let me take the profit and go. Chalupa said, "Oh my fault. I can't even post the thing." Chalupa says the condo fees are insane in Florida. Because of new building requirements. Exactly what I was saying. My condo fees were okay for the longest. For me, they were more expensive than a lot of other people. I was paying $730 this year, and every year it went up $100. But because I was making $300 profit a month, it didn't bother me. Um, Building code requirements, definitely, Chalup. DJ, we're gonna get back into it. I just want to shout out a couple people real quick. DJ RJ, salute. This is the part of the space I love hearing to talk about that talk. Again, I got a whole section of the financial section. I try to tell people all the time. Let me show people. I like to show people when I tell people. Because I think for me, the difference between my channel and a lot of other people's channel in this section on YouTube is that my channel has always been balanced. It's been a balance of my real life, travel, my children, my finances, my beliefs, my financial journey. Everything has been a balance, and I think that that's the most important thing when in life is having a balance. And I think a lot of people they're so determined to be popular or more known or get more people in their chat or get more views that they don't care about what people they just want to do what people want to see. Now, if you go to my main page, everything is on my main page. We got the Black Man's Guide, we got the For You section, we got the shorts, we got the power in numbers because again, it's about the community. Travel the United States, travel the world, and then right after the travel the world, you see the financial independence journey. There is about let me see how many. There is over 57 videos about finance from my what is this called? uh, building my legacy series to financial freedom to showing you how me going through the process from homeless to financial independence in 1 year. When people found out I was a million, when my boys found out I was a millionaire, to me introducing to my lawyer in Medellin, to me buying a property in Miami, to telling people about the property, life after 40. Again, there's over 57 videos that can give you on different aspects of the financial journey. Whether if you don't like real estate, well then go to the video about Bitcoin, about investing in crypto, or go to the video about investing in stocks, or go to the video about investing in loans, or why you need FU money, or how people are building a monopoly. Again, this is the benefit of my channel being balanced. Now, there is a negative part of my channel being balanced, and the issue is that hey, my channel doesn't grow as fast as everyone else's that just sticks on one topic, and I'm okay with that. You gotta for me, it's all about a long-term plan. So again, if you guys do want to know about finance more, just go back to the main page and you can click on the financial passive income, multiple income streams, and you can learn a lot more. Let's get back to the topic. All right, so we're gonna get back to the topic of the sell. Okay. So now we're sold. We've made $40,000 off profit. Now, mind y'all, I had to put $50,000 in. So $40,000 plus $50,000, $41,000 plus $50,000 is $91,000. So I sell my place while I'm in Cali, Colombia, having a wild time. I look at my account. I have $91,000. I have $91,000 in my account. The place that I'm looking at, and I've been looking at, and I'll show you guys in the future. Let's get to the conversation first. The place that I'm looking at in Colombia is Barranquilla. That's the place I feel as though is the best long-term investment. Not Medellin, not Cartagena, not Bogota, Barranquilla. And I told people, I believe that the most important thing is you not to buy a place in the tourist area, but buy a place that does have tourists. And Barranquilla fits that perfectly. Also, there's 3 international airports in a 2-hour span of each way that you can get to. Barranquilla, Colombia has an airport. 2 hours later, on a $10 bus, Cartagena has an international airport. 2 hours later, on a $10 bus, Santa Marta has an international airport. So if there's ever an emergency and I got to leave the country as soon as possible to get back to my kids in the States, or to get back to my kid in Cuba, or to get to another part of Medellin, of Colombia, to go to do something, I have 3 options in a 2-hour span of each other. There's no other place in Colombia that has that. There's no other place in Colombia that has that. And that is the importance of understanding long-term goals. So the property that I'm looking at to purchase in the north of Barranquilla range between $65,000 and $85,000. I won't spend a penny over $85,000 for the place. I most likely won't spend less than $65,000 for what I want. A 2-bedroom in a certain section close to District 90, where I'm familiar with the area. So for me, 65 to 85 is what I needed. And guess what I got, y'all? I had $91,000. But you have to understand, there's an important thing that a lot of people miss when doing this. They see the $91,000 and they want to run and go to Colombia and run and go to whatever country and buy their place. But for me, I understand if I want to make this last long, I have to be debt free. It is important for me to be either debt free, or that my real estate alone, without me working, I've been working the same job for 23 years this year. Without me working, I need my real estate to pay for all my bills. So the only way I can do that is if I take that $91,000 and pay every bill I have off, except for the 2 bills of mortgages that are paying for themselves and giving me a profit on top. So I could have ran and took that $91,000 and bought my crib for $75,000 in the middle of it, and then had $20,000 and say, "Yo, I own a crib now." But then I got all these debts. I had $40,000 in no, I had $44,000 in credit card debt. I had a $13,000 car note. I had a $20,000 HELOC. So I had things I had to pay. And guess what I did? In about 6 days, maybe 5 days, I paid everything off. I paid the 40 off. I paid the 13 off. I paid the I paid everything off, and it left me with a little bit less than $10,000 to a little bit less than $10,000. So from $91,000, I spent in six less than 6 days. I spent $80,000 on paying off my debt. But now, at this point, I'm completely debt free. The only debt that I have is the mortgage on this house and the mortgage on that house, and neither one of them are what they consider bad debt because both of these properties are cash flowing properties. This property is a cash flowing property that I live in. So not only is it cash flowing, but it doesn't cost me to live and is in a great area. So um so now what the next step is, now that I have no debt, I have I think I got paid some. I bought some stuff, did some stuff right. I got a trip coming up with my brother for his brother's birthday. So I did burn through. I did allow myself to burn through like $5,000 or $6,000. I did allow myself to burn through $5,000 or $6,000 with stuff I wanted to do. I got a trip to Atlanta coming up next month for my brother's birthday. I have some back things I wanted to do things I wanted to do in my cars, do all stuff like that. So I did allow myself the pleasure of burning through $5,000 or $6,000. Cool. So now my plan is to go get a home equity line of credit because now my debt to income ratio is way at the bottom. I have a great debt to income ratio with no credit card debt at all, and I own properties that have that each. This property is worth $650,000 right now. It's worth $650,000 right now, and it's only gonna go up. I know everybody's saying, "Well, properties everywhere is going down." Not in New Jersey. Not in New Jersey. It's not at all. Not in North New Jersey, at least. It's not. Not in North New Jersey. It's not. So I have. I'm getting to your comments. I have 65. I have 65,000. I have 600. This house worth $650,000, and I owe $197,000 on this house. My other house is worth $625,000, and I owe $185,000 on it. So on both of my houses, I have over $400,000 of equity on them, and I don't have any debt on the houses aside from the mortgages. And both of my mortgages are at low income and low interest rates. My mortgage in West Orange is at a 2.8. That's my first house. I was able to get it at 2.8. The mortgage on this house is at 3.5. These low mortgages will probably never happen again. So I can't foresee anything ever causing me to sell these houses. As a matter of fact, these houses are generational wealth for my kids. My daughter is going to own a house in West Orange. My son is going to own this house right here. And I do plan on having another kid in Colombia, another kid in Colombia. Cuba, I'm still hoping that goes through, but we taking a pause on Cuba right now as far as the legacy kid part aspect of it. We're still going to Cuba. We're still going to Havana. But we're taking a pause on that so we can focus on the kid in Colombia stuff. So right now we're working on buying a place in Colombia, y'all. And the HELOC. This is the part that again we're having this conversation because this is on. I'm gonna get to y'all comments. Give me a second. We're having this conversation because I'm still kind of planning things out as we go. I'm thinking I have two options. I can take a HELOC, a home equity line of credit out for up to $145,000 just to have it just in case, right? Even though I only plan on spending between 65 and 85,000. If I take it out for 145, whatever I don't use, I don't get charged for. But a HELOC and a HE loan are two different products. For those that don't know, a HELOC is when you use the equity as somewhat of a credit card where you can pull from, you can put money back, you can pull, or a bank account, more like a bank account where you can pull money and take money back. A HE loan, you take a specific amount of cash out and you have to pay it back as soon as you take it out. Now, because I know I'm not spending more than $85,000, I can take a HE loan of $85,000 and get a lower interest rate than if I take a HELOC of $145,000 and just use $85,000. Let me give you an example. If I take a HELOC out of my place, the interest rate will be something like 7.5. Even because remember, my credit shot up because now my debt to income ratio and my credit is down. The interest rate will be a 7.5. But if I take a HE loan, there's a chance that I can get a 6.5 interest rate, but I just have to start paying right away. Now, the difference is I understand that if I take a HE loan, I will only have to pay approximately for 85. I will only have to pay between $500 a month and $600 a month. But if I take a HELOC, that price, because the interest rate will keep going up over time, it will start at like it will start like at $600 a month, but it can if the interest rates keep continuing to go up, which they might not, but if they do continue to go up, it could end up being like $800 a month, and that's the risk that I'm thinking about. But if it's $800 a month, I still have access to $60,000 or 60,000. I still have access to $60,000 on a HELOC if an emergency comes up. Now I do have another HELOC where I have $20,000 access to, which makes me lean more towards the HE loan than the HELOC product. But I just don't know. I just don't know. Right now, again, I am more likely, like, we'll get to your comments next. I'm more likely 75% to 80% leaning towards the HE loan product, because $600 a month, I can easily pay that with my son's school, and with that, and with the money I'm getting from that, I can easily pay that and out of the mortgages that I get. Now, here's the thing: the HE loan is different from a mortgage. The difference is that a mortgage can last up to 30 years. A HE loan at maximum lasts 15 years. So I'll be paying $600 a month for 15 years. Here's the thing about that: I only am going to be working for 9 more years. I'm 41 years old. Before 2 weeks before 50, I'm retiring. I started working at my regular job on FedEx, if you guys don't know. I started working at my job at 18 years old at FedEx. I started working in the workforce with the help of Colgate, a program for underprivileged youth. I started working at 14 years old. So from 14 to 50 is 35 years. In order to get full benefits of Social Security, you need to work 35 years. Now, this is if Social Security comes. I'm not really banking on it, but it's going to. I'm banking on it being the only thing, but I'm banking on it being there a little bit. So you need to work 35 years in order, because every year you work, you get a certain amount of number that goes to your Social Security. I've been working since 14 years old. If I retire at 50, that would be pretty much 35, 36 years. So let's just say 35 years. The top 35 years go to that. That means I'll be eligible for the full benefit of what I can get, because it's 35 years. There's no 0 years. On top of that, I have my real estate. My real estate, I'm not going to tell you guys how much I make. That just because the situation on YouTube's be weird. But I make a decent amount off my real estate every month. A decent amount. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tenants. Decent amount. And I live free in one of the units. Between the real estate and what I can get from Social Security when I'm 60, 65, I probably won't take it at 62. I'll probably wait to 65. The real estate alone will be able to pay this mortgage, even with my son's school being $700 a month. As my son go to private school, so it's $700 a month. And then when my son leaves out of high school, I'll be close to being 50, and that's when I'll be able to leave. So I won't have to pay that $700 a month. So that money from the real estate will also still cover the thing. So the 15-year home equity loan. So basically, my property in Colombia that you have to pay full cash for is going to be paid off by my properties in New Jersey. So for me, that's why I'm leaning 75% more towards taking the HE loan out, because it's a more stable opportunity. And who knows, I may pay it off before 15 years, but if I don't pay it off before I retire, at least I know that the money from my properties my properties I have invested in here will pay for that HELOC, so I will still have that property. Now, everybody's saying, why don't you just rent? Again, one, I do want to have a kid in Colombia, and two, I believe that in Colombia, at least where I want to go, even if I'm not there often, maybe I'll Airbnb it, but I don't want to have to. I don't want to have to Airbnb anything, and I won't have to Airbnb it. But maybe I can Airbnb it when I'm not there while I'm still here with my son, because I won't be living there. But I'll be going maybe every other month, going to my spot every other month in Colombia. Um, but maybe I'll Airbnb it when I'm not there, or maybe I'll let some of my friends use it. But that's the power I have because of the choice that I made not to use my first, not to buy a one family house for my first property or for my second property, so that I can get to my third property and my first and my second property buys my dream house, or buys the dream condo I want, or is able to do that. Now, what is it guaranteed? No, nothing's ever guaranteed. But with risk comes reward, and you do have to have a calculation of the risk to see if you're worth taking it. So I calculated the risk, I took it. Things went well. Things started to look like they wasn't going well in Miami. I calculated the risk. I didn't want to take it. I didn't want to take the risk to keep Miami place. So I sold it. Let me get your comments, y'all. All right. Hi, let me get your comments. I know I've been talking for a while. Let me get some water out here, y'all. That's cool. All right, let me see. All right. I think we ended at DJ RJ. Nate in your state, retracted. Travel lover, Flyboy. You say you paid 167, but you not counting the interest. You have paid the banks and credit card until now, so the interest paid fees is added to the original purchase price. I don't know. Wait, let me see. Flyboy, you said you paid 167, but you're not counting the interest. You have paid the banks and credit cards until now. Okay, so yes, I can add that also, but that's still not going to be. It's still. Here's the thing about that. Here's the thing about that. I used a lot of the money too for the credit cards for doing stuff I want to do as far as trips and stuff. So I can't really fully count everything on that credit card as towards that. Also, I rented my place for 3 years. So I for 2 years, my fault. For 2 years. So I can't really say I paid it. My tenant may have paid it. Maybe I did pay it by lateral of my tenant, but it didn't come out of my pocket. It came out of my tenant's pocket. So a lot of times where you can still say yes, you paid it, it's a different feel when it doesn't come from your pocket. Like I have a mortgage on this place right here, but I can't even tell you how much I make. I make a nice amount of money off of this place. Now, am I paying interest? Of course, I'm paying interest, but I'm not paying it. My tenants are paying it. So it's a different feel for me. Maybe I can see people seeing it differently, but for me, I'm not paying nothing. My tenants are paying that. To actually find the total cost of the condo by now. What was the association fee? My association fee started off at $575. When I left, it was $730. So it went up like about $100 every year. Almost about $100 every year, 75, something like that. Definitely appreciate that. Hit the like button, travel POV. Dear DJR, you're inspired, man. Listen, I'm just here to show people the real. Like a lot of people say, oh, Flyboy, you need to be this perfect guy. No, I'm showing you what's real. A lot of people want to live in what should be. But when you live in what should be, your reality is never the same. Because a lot of people is living in what should happen, which way you should go. And they're not living in what's reality. What is reality? If I don't know, we can give examples. Just if you don't get it, you don't get it. Gil, what's up, man? Gil, appreciate that, man. Shout out to Mentorwish in the building. He says the Florida real estate market is terrible in general. The hurricane, among several other things, got hurted a lot. It was hard to sell houses right now. Again, I had my condo, as I just showed y'all, for a year and a half on the market. I was not lucky enough, but I was intelligent enough when I purchased the place at a low price to know that I could rent it so that the rent would not only pay the mortgage, but I would get money off of it. If that wasn't the case, I would be upset having to hold this property and pay this $1,700 a month with no income. But because I had the wherewithal to think I'm only buying this property because I know if I can't live there and I have to pay it, I can rent it out and I'm going to make more. Again, a lot of people don't understand. You make your profit really on the purchase. not really on the sale. On the purchase of your property, you or not really on owning the property, but on the purchase of your property. That's when you make the profit. I made that profit when I knew 167,000 was way too less for the property that they was trying to sell. Ella says legacy Barranquilla on the way. Nathan State, hold on, I missed the part. How were you getting $300 a month? Did I rent it out on Airbnb? No. Again, I had a residential. I had a condo in a residential area of Miami Beach. For those that don't know, the Mondrian is like where all the top celebrities send their jump offs. I'm joking. Well, the beautiful women, there's a lot of beautiful women that come from overseas, that come from other places, and they know people who are wealthy. They go into Mondrian. It's the biggest type hotel slash Airbnb setup, and it's right down the street from me, from where I used to own the property at. But where I owned the property, you couldn't Airbnb the unit. You could not Airbnb any of the places because it was in a residential area. I lived on South Beach. So, Words Weapon, what's going on? He says, oh, he's looking for you. Again, I got a whole video about that. Ellis, Santa Marta is looking like my vibe. Santa Marta does look dope. I would say for me, I think it's more of a retirement place, like for like older folks. That the vibe. I haven't been there yet, but just looking at it, watching other people's videos, hearing what it is about, I think it's more like that. But I will see. We'll eventually go to Santa Marta. We will eventually go to Santa Marta. Khalil says 40,000 ain't ish. Hey, let me ask you this question, y'all. Khalil says 40,000 ain't ish. If you guys would be better with $40,000 right now, type 1 in the room. If $40,000 ain't nothing to you, type 2 in the room. I'll say it like that. We'll let the people judge. Okay, I won't make too much of a statement. I'll say I don't know any of me personally. I've been investing for a while. I don't know any other investments where you can invest $50,000 and make $40,000 5 years later from that $50,000 you invested. I don't know, but maybe I'm wrong. And if I was to take the original number, the 58,000, I really don't know anywhere where you can invest $50,000 in something and make $58,000 later off of that. I don't know. Maybe it's me. But remember, although I did pay for my real estate fees, although I did pay for the other things I had to pay, all that is tax deductible. So once I go into my taxes this year, even though I didn't get taxed for the real estate property because I lived there, I'm able to write that off because even though I paid it to somebody, it's still an expense. So again, it's really way more than 40,000. But I'm for people to understand. I know people take a long time to understand it. I just said 40,000, but it's really a lot more than 40,000 if you include the tax incentives I get from the purchase and the sale. But again, if 40,000 is nothing for you, type 2 in the room. If making 40,000 off of being able to experience living in Miami for 3 years and then getting paid $300 a month for almost 2 years, then hit 1. Kid in Cuba, yeah, again, we holding off on that right now, y'all. We holding off on that right now. Again, we're holding off on that right now. Maybe I'll do another video about the legacy because I do think it's a time for update on the legacy. Maybe I'll do another live video and we'll talk about that. Let me see. Oh shucks. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing the Chalup. Bogota has the most flights to the U.S., but it isn't tourist spot. Bogota, Colombia, has the most flights to the U.S. And no, it isn't a tourist spot. But there's only one airport. If for whatever reason something happens, the guerrillas, the cartel, the government, if something happens to that airport, you're stuck. The closest airport to Bogota, if I'm international, if I'm correct, I don't know if Bucaramanga has one, but I think it might be Cali. So you would have to take a 10-hour drive or bus ride to get to the next international airport. Again, location to me is the most important thing. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with it, but I like to have the option to take a 10-minute a $10 bus 2 hours to Cartagena and a $10 bus 2 hours to Santa Marta, as well as the fact that my cousin owns a condo in Santa Marta, in Cartagena near the airport. So for me, I like that. I like the atmosphere of Barranquilla. Just my opinion. Steve Rodriguez, I realize what Francis explained it to you guys is back in 2022. Barranquilla has been my base for a couple years now. Shout out to Steve Rodriguez. Shout out to the homie George too. George is one of the people that like his name is not George. His name is something else. I'm just gonna say George. Um, his name is Darren. Darren is one of the people that showed me there's a community of expats, brothers, surprisingly, in Barranquilla. A big community of expats, of brothers that own stuff, that operate in the government in Barranquilla from the States. So when I see that, I say, yeah, it just validates my idea of buying that in Barranquilla as well. Um, James, what's going on? He says moves. Words a weapon. Word kid in Cuba. Again, we'll get into that another thing, y'all. Um, you didn't want to put that money in S&P and get a dividend from it. No, the reason we're gonna get into this part right here. I'm gonna leave it right there so we can get back to it. Here's the thing, y'all. I took this money from to get my place in Miami. I took this money from my retirement, from my 401k. Yes, I built the 401k back up after I paid the stuff. I took this money from my 401k. The 401k is another leg, and I'm putting more money back on my 401k now. But the 401k is a leg of your retirement. You should have. They say you should have three legs of retirement. You should have 401k. Let's say your retirement is a chair. The chair we're sitting in. You should have at least three legs to your chair. The 401k, the Social Security, and the pension. Those things should all hold your stability. If you only have two legs, it can still hold your retirement up. You'll still be able to retire pretty well. But if you only have one thing that you can retire on, you go and that's Social Security. Odds are you're gonna be off balance and things you might just fall. So for me, I didn't want to put my money in the S&P because I believe that living costs in the future will be way higher than the inflation you can get by leaving your money in the stocks. Let me try to explain that a little bit better. I know that might came off wrong. I feel as though owning a place in Barranquilla will allot me to be able to not only live in New Jersey where I don't have to pay rent, but also live in Colombia where I don't have to pay rent, and the food is cheaper, the nightlife is least expensive, the cost of living is least expensive. I can do more stuff versus if I'm in New Jersey or I'm making this money off of the S&P and I still have to I still have to rent. The rent I think is going to go up eventually in all places around the world because I think the dollar is going to come down. Now I don't ever think the dollar is going to lose reserve status, but I do think the dollar cost is going to come down because we're going to eventually have to print so much money. It's not going to make a difference. Bedtime, my boy. I know you ain't seen him in a minute, but say what's up, Xavier. Hello. Hello, hello. All right, bedtime. We're eating good. I so in my mind, I think that by doing this, buying this property overseas, and having to pay $600 a month for 15 years, plus I think $100 for the $100 a month for the H, not even 100, like $50 a month for the HOA. So let's just say paying $650 a month for 15 years, and I'm retiring in 10. I think in those 10 years, we're not even counting using it as an Airbnb. I think after those 10 years, it's going to be more expensive than $800 to get a condo or get an apartment in Colombia, in Barranquilla, in Cartagena, Santa Marta, and Medellin is already there. I think that with the US dollar coming down, with the price of everybody moving overseas to try to get a better life, I think if you don't own a place, that standard that we can live there now is going to be higher. I don't think that investing in the S&P or stocks is going to ever be able, especially since stocks have the worst tax incentives ever of capital gains. When I put money in real estate and I make money off of real estate, I pay a lower income on my taxes from it than if I put the same amount of money and make the same amount of money in stocks. So for me, I can't see the longevity of owning stocks, even if you only take the 4% out and all that stuff with the tax incentives. It didn't make sense. I just think it's a better option. I could be wrong, but I'll bank on my thing being right. Chalupa Flyboy will also have a safety net if his pension, safety net if his pension when he retires. That's why he's still working. Yes, that also. Well, with FedEx, because I'm grandfathered in before they changed, they made a lot of changes, and I've been working here since 2002. I'm already locked into the pension. I've already done. I'm at my. I'm on, no shit. November. In November, it's gonna be my 23rd year at FedEx. My 23rd year. I locked in a pension at 20 years. So it was like, you know what I mean, everything now is just up to, again, by the time I retire in 8 years, I'm going to be at over 30 years at 9 years. My fault. I'm gonna be over 30 years at my job. So the pension is going to be way maxed out. It ain't gonna make no sense to keep working at it. It make more sense to get another job and do another 20 years if I really wanted to. But and in the 401k, I'm still putting money in my 401k 6%, still matching 6%. So again, I do have a lot more options. I could have been retired. I keep telling people, I try to tell people, but everyone gonna listen. I could have been retired, but my son came to live with me. So when my son came to live with me, I changed my environment to say, hey, I will work until I'm 50 years old, as long as my son can go to private school, get the education he needs, so that when he gets the stuff when I pass away and he gets the money that comes from me and my daughter gets the money that comes from me, they'll know how to use it. Like my daughter's already graduated high school. I've put one kid through high school already, y'all. I've put one kid through high school already. She knows what she's doing. She's going to get hair. She's going to probably go to visit her grandmother in Ghana. Go with her mother again. She's going to live in Ghana for a while. She's going to get the international feel. For those that don't know, my son's mother is white. My daughter's mother is Ghanaian. So it's like it's that again. All that's in place. So now I just got one more kid to get through high school, and then we out. So that's why again I'm not retired. That's why I'm building this plan out the way I'm building it out now, y'all. That's why I'm building everything out the way a lot of people. Yeah. We can leave it at that. James H goes. I don't know if I want to live on the coast of Colombia though. That's the thing a lot of people don't understand, but I get it. I get it. The thing about Colombia, and I know a lot of people are going to dislike this, but as a person who's been to Brazil, as a person who's been to Trinidad, Jamaica, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, France, Italy, France, England, uh, Ghana, Africa, as a person that's been all of these places, as a person who's been all these places, Colombia has the most diversity in different parts of the country. There's no other place with more diversity in different parts of the country. So let's say I have 6 months. Let's say I don't have a kid, because when you have a kid, you can live there longer, or you can get a visa, you can live there longer. But let's say I only have 6 months to live in Colombia. If I get bored of living on the coast after 2 months, I can take $100 flight and live in Medellin for a month. I can take $100 flight and live in Cali for a month. Round trip, that's a round trip. That's not one way. That's round trip. I can take $100 flight. If I want to feel what it feels like to be cold, I can take $100 flight and live in Bogota for a month. If I want to escape everything, I can go to Bucaramanga. If I want to feel like retirement just laying on the beach, I can go to Santa Marta. There's no other countries I've been to. This is my experience. It's a person who been traveling since I was 18 years old. I'm 41 now. In my experience, there's no other country where you can do this. The closest country where you can do this is Costa Rica. And it's at a higher rate, a way higher rate. It's a way higher rate. I'm just saying, it's a way higher rate. You can't do this in Brazil. Yes, you can go to Sao Paulo. Sao Paulo, most people ain't gonna like Sao Paulo. I've been in Sao Paulo. Most people ain't not. I like Sao Paulo. Most people ain't gonna like Sao Paulo if you only know Rio. People can go to Barra-Tijuca, not Barra-Tijuca. They can go to oh my god, I'm probably saying I always mess the name up. You can go to, I just call it the black part of Colombia, of Brazil. You can go to that part. Most people ain't gonna want to stay there for more than a month. So again, a lot of people, they just, maybe they have a different opinion. I think everybody has a different opinion. But for me, Colombia, if I get bored of the coast, I want to be somewhere free, I go to Bogota. I'm gonna have a great experience. I go to Cali, I'm gonna have a great experience. All different cultures. All different cultures. I can go to Santa Marta, different culture. Cartagena, if I want to really watch, different culture. So again, I can understand people don't want to live on the coast of Colombia, but there's so many other options. Ellis says, smart play. This will go over most people's heads. Again, I think, Ellis, the reason why I make these videos is not for it to grab people's attention right away. It's not. It's for it to grab people's attention when they're ready to listen. That's why I don't care about videos. Come on. I've got a short that has 29 million views. I've had a video that has a million views. I got a video this year that has over 125,000 views. I'm not rushing for the views because I've been on here the longest. There's no other traveler. There's no other content creator. Out looking at Mr. B, there's no other content creator that's been on as long as I've been on consistently as I've been on that I've seen. Not as consistent and doing what I do. As far as if you're playing video games and you've been doing, maybe there's some people playing video games for this long and they're still playing video games, but just as far as like going places, doing stuff, showing you different interactions, more inclusive worldviews, there's nobody. So when I tell people that never chase that next hit, always chase your goal. I'm a living example of somebody who's always chased just doing what I feel as though is right versus trying to get the next hit. So yeah. Chef Philippe in the building. Getting ready to head out to Limon, Costa Rica tomorrow. Again, flight at 6 a.m. Chief Philippe, how are you getting there? Because I don't believe there's an airport in Limon. I am going to go to Limon. I have a friend that's going to ride with me, but I'm flying to San Jose and I'm driving 4 hours to Limon. So I don't know if you were going, if you found there's an airport nearby, but yeah, let me know. Chef Philippe, what you know about Limon? Yeah, shout out to Nathan State. Nathan State was also in Limon as well. He was in Limon for a while too. I just seen his video, so check out his channel if y'all want to see what Limon looked like, y'all. He went during like an Afro festival. Now they do have an Afro festival, and then they have Carnival. When I want to go in October during Carnival. The thing is that the days of Carnival is always during my brother's birthday, and me and my brother we always go out somewhere. And recently they've been wanting to go local now in the States, so we're going to Atlanta for his birthday next month versus going internationally. We've been internationally for his birthday a couple times, but so I do want to still go to Le Mans in October for the carnival. But there is an Afro festival that Nick and your state can tell you more about. Um Bro, hustle is different but obtainable. Keep grinding. Angel, that's Angel G. That is, oh my God. I love showing people this because a lot of people don't really check to see what people's channel is about. There's a section in the beginning of everyone's channel, and for some reason people don't look at it. In the beginning, it's called About Me, and it's About Me section tells you what the channel is about. You can assume what it's about by looking at the videos you like the most, or you can just do a little bit of research to find out what the channel is about. And I tell people all the time, go to this. My channel is about the Black Man's Guide to World Travel, an inclusive history of the world that has never been told until now. It tells you the places under the Black Man's Travel and more. And then, before it ends, it says, I am not famous, I am not an athlete, I am not a comedian, nor am I rich. I'm just a kid born in Newark, New Jersey, who travels the world, experiencing different cultures, meeting new people, and using his life to inspire. The thing about my channel and why it's going to always be so inspirational is because um as Angel G says, what I do is obtainable. It's obtainable. It's I told you guys it took me 10 years putting money in my 401k, which is still possible now, before I was able to buy my first investment property that I lived in. I maximized the investment, which can still be done now. Yes, it may take a little bit longer. Maybe it takes 11 years because the prices of real estate is high, but it's still obtainable. It's not like I'm telling you something that the majority of people can't do. And that's why my channel is inspiring. Because I'm not telling you nothing that's like, oh, I won the lottery. Oh, I made a YouTube channel and my YouTube channel just so happened to go viral. No, I went to work. I worked for 10 years. I put 6% away. I'm not even putting 10 or 15% away like they suggest you. I put 6% away. 6%. My company matched 6%. I took that money and I grew it. So again, he hit it right on the nose. Pause. Right on the nose. It's obtainable, and that's the point of the channel, y'all. Um, Chief Philippe. All right, so we've been on for hours now. Now we're gonna get into. We're gonna stop right there. We get into the next part. All right, so this is gonna be probably the final part. Now I'll take some questions. You guys have any questions in the chat? We'll talk about that. Um, so the next step in this process, after I get my home equity line of credit or home equity loan, whichever way I decide to do, which I have to wait 2 years for. The reason why I have to wait not 2 years, shoot. I have to wait 2 months. The reason why I have to wait 2 months is that I paid everything off in August. But as you guys know, once you pay your credit cards off, once you pay your loans off, it doesn't automatically show in your credit report. So my credit score is still like a 670 right now. But once all of the stuff starts deleting off my credit report, my credit is going to shoot up to at least almost an 800. Now, here's the thing. If you want to get the lowest credit score, you have to have, I believe, over a 740 credit score. If you don't have over a 740 credit score, you will not be getting the best interest rate on your home equity line of credit or your home equity loan. So even though I can rush right now and show people I paid everything off and do all this stuff, if I want to get the best home equity line loan, I gotta wait 2 months. So I paid it off in August. I got September, October. So when I get back from hopefully, when I get back from my brother's birthday vacation in Atlanta, I should then be having another Money Talk Mondays where I'm telling you guys which way I went, whether the HE loan or the HELOC, and how much money I went to get. I might not tell you that. But because in October I should be able to apply for the HE loan. Now the HE loan will take the HELOC will take 5 weeks to finally go through. It will take 5 weeks to go through. So now I'm looking at, if I come back in October, on October 14th, I apply for the HE loan. By November 14th, let's say a month, I now have the HE loan. So in November 14th, I now have the HE loan to then start looking for properties in Colombia and start talking with my lawyer to put my money in a trust so I can buy the property. I have a video, the video with my lawyer here if you guys want to know more of the process in general, how it works. I have a video called Buying Real Estate in Colombia with Langdon Law Firm. Shout out to Langdon Law Firm. So I'm looking at, let's say, November 20th to start the process of putting the money in to my trust. It will take, what did he say? It will take mostly 3 to 6 weeks to do it the correct way and put money in my Colombian trust through Alavenza or the company that I'm gonna put the money. It would take 3 to 6 weeks. So that puts me now in December, towards the end of December. So let's just say January 1st, 2026, I should have the money in the account that is ready to purchase the place. So somewhere between, and I really wanted to go in December, but I can't, but they're not allowing us to take off work in December like that to do what I really need to do. So from January 1st, 2026, I should be looking for a place and able to buy the place on spot once I see it in Colombia. I don't want to rush it because I'm not paying any debt right now, and it feels good not to have that pay no debt every month. But I give it a take, I think, because I know where I want to buy. I know the price range. I believe that I will find a place within 3 months. So from January, February, the end of March, by the end of March, I think I should have my condo in Barranquilla, Colombia. Now, I am going to Barranquilla, Colombia for Carnival in February. We'll get more into that after I get back from my brother's birthday party. But I am going to Barranquilla Carnival in February. But I do believe that as of March 2026, at the end of March 2026, I will have my Colombian property. Now, this is just me foreshadowing it, how things are going to go, giving you guys an outline of the time thing, how I'm not rushing anything. I'm taking my time to do everything right because it's a lot of money. I know for Khalil, $40,000 is not a lot, but for me, spending $65,000 to $80,000, $5,000 is a lot. That's a lot. I mean, most people don't make 100. The average person doesn't make. The average person doesn't have $100,000 in their life. Don't make $100,000 flat in their lifetime to have in the bank. Average person doesn't. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. In the world, not even talking about the United States. The average person in the world never has $100,000 at one time in the bank. So yes, it is a lot. It is a lot. Um, let's see. Chef Leaf says, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. We'll show you. I'll show you. I'll get you your comments, and then I'll show you some properties as we end this. We won't go over 2 hours, but I'll show you some of the properties that I'm looking to get as we after I read the comments. Chef Leaf, I ain't been out that way yet. They just had a festival out 3 weeks ago. Okay, okay, it did look less than one that Nick and your state went to. I'm trying to see what it do. Um, I'm gonna check out Puerto Vallarta too. Okay. So it's safe to say you've seen my videos and live stream with it. Oh, that was you, my guy. Oh, yeah, okay, it's dope. They talking to each other. Okay. Info. Jay Brass, get the HELOC much more flexible, and you only pay interest on what you use. Jay Brass, I thought of that also. The issue is that the HELOC, if interest rates go up, the HELOC rate goes up as well. I've had a HELOC for 4 years. I just paid off already. Oh, yeah, I've had a HELOC for more than 4 years. I've had a HELOC for 7 years. I just paid off. And what I realized when I got the HELOC, I got it at 8%. When I paid it off, it was at 11%. So a HELOC loan won't go up like that. It stays in one place. A HELOC does. So that's the reason why I'm not, even though I do have more money, I still have another HELOC that I can reach if I really have an emergency of money. I still have another HELOC. But so I can't really see myself leaning towards a second HELOC. DJ RJ says, teach, liking. Sounds like you should do the loan 1,000%, man. I'm right now. I'm on 85. I'm on 75 to 80%. But again, I'm still leaning more towards that. Refinance right now is wild though. Never refinance. Yeah, I don't think I can never see refinance. My 2.8, never. 3.5, even 3.5. I don't think we'll ever get a 3.5 interest rate again in my lifetime at least. And I know damn sure we'll never get a 2.8 interest rate in my lifetime again. That's maybe not even my kids' lifetime. They ain't gonna get no 2.8 interest rate on a property. Let me see. Okay, talking travel POV. We retiring at the same time. Okay, that's what it is. Travel POV. Oh shucks. Hold on. What just happened? Um. Hold on, y'all. I'm just trying to figure it out. Why? Let's see. Let's see. All right, here we go. I'm gonna check your channel out. Okay, okay. Smith, you can't. For yeah, 30 years. Get Social Security. See, I think Khalil says you can't get Social Security until you're 62. I said that. You don't have to work 35 years. I didn't say that. To get Social Security, you have to reach a certain number. Again, I don't think Khalil was listening when I said it, so I'll try to say it a little bit more clear for you guys. You don't have to work until you can retire early at 62 and get Social Security. You can retire at 65 and get Social Security, or you can retire at 70 and get more Social Security. You do have to work 35 years if you want the even amount and you don't want zeros on your Social Security. You can look it up. Social Security takes, to get the balance of your Social Security, they take the top, highest paying 35 years of your work history. So if you don't have 35 years of work history, the years you don't have it, you get a big fat zero. And what that zero does is it brings down the amount of money that you can get on your Social Security. So no, you don't have to work 35 years. But if you want the maximum amount of money that you can get, you're going to have to work 35 years. Because maximum, you're going to need 35 years of making that amount of income. So for me, I will have 35 years of making income because I've been working since I was 14. Now, yes, some of the years I only made $2,000 at 14. Some years I only made $5,000. But some years I made 70. Some years I made 120. So it's going to even out to be that way. But if you're going to go 5, maybe 10 years with zeros, then the money that you get is not going to be enough. So hopefully that explained a little bit better. Maybe there's some miscommunication there or something like that. I don't know. Let me see. Nate State. I appreciate it. I'm working on more listening to financial lectures. I appreciate that, man. He didn't say, Yeah, yeah, yeah. I hope you got that, Jay Brad. Appreciate that, man. Again, it's taking me because I like to get to everybody's comment. I don't look. You can't super chat me right now, y'all. You can't add any money because I don't accept that. So what I try to do is I try to get to everyone's comment to show you guys I appreciate you guys to the fullest. So it's gonna take some time for me to get everybody's comment. Once I get to everybody's comment, I can move to the next part. Um, yeah, I figure you met him. But his Lemon videos like 5 years old. Um, he's on Amaro. Okay. Khalil said, dude said he had a spot in Miami in a booming real estate market and only made $90,000. Again, okay. Saint Nick, yeah. But that complicating adding all that. I don't know that part, Saint Nick. I don't know. You gotta help me understand what you was referencing. Dark Green laughing. I mean, John Davis says $40,000 is a lot. Justin Notice says $40,000 is a nice amount. Dark Green says $40,000 is a lot. Jay Brad says $40,000 is a lot. Words Weapon says $40,000 is not much. Um, uh, Angel says $40,000 is a lot. Lycan says $40,000. Saint Nick $40,000. Travel Level $40,000. Terrence Hill $40,000. There's a lot, man. It's a lot of people that agree. Again, it's not about every person because every person's gonna have a different opinion. That's why I tell people my channel is about the Flyboy way. It's just my way of seeing things. It's not the best way. It's not the worst way. But I think everyone can find something on my channel that helps them in their way of creating things. Let's see. You know damn well 40 ain't nothing outside the cap. Meanwhile, the majority of Americans don't have no. Hey, Saint Nick. Meanwhile, the majority of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, and they don't have $1,000 for an emergency. But $40,000 ain't a lot. I mean, I'm just I like I'm from North, so I like to joke. I like to joke a lot with people also. So I like to rag on people when they say something that doesn't make sense to me. But again, you guys are doing a great job in the chat. But let's see. Closing course, all that you got to pay. Um, I see. I thought I see when I bought my first place. I knew buying a place there was closing costs. I didn't really know what the closing cost was selling the place. I just thought it was, so some money definitely did come out. But again, it's my first place and my only place I'll probably ever sell. Um, what's the average of the property you sold? I showed you on I brought it up on the screen. 800 West Avenue, 905. A problem is you think that you're the smartest guy in the room, but you not see through the game. I don't get it. Dude is a professional hater. Habitual traveler. You make some great points, my boy. Dark Green hit on what? What up, little man? Saint Nick definitely will be more expensive because price is not. Again, I do believe that the cost of living will be more expensive. And I know people say, don't rush to buy real estate now. Just buy it when you buy it in the future when it goes down. I don't think people take into account the fact that in the future, odds are most people won't be able to get the credit to buy the real estate price, no matter what the price is. As an American United States citizen, as a United States citizen, 99.9% of United States citizens, I'm probably exaggerating, but 99.9% of United States citizens do not understand that the 30-year mortgage is only here. It's only here because they don't travel the world. There is no 30-year mortgage in Canada. There is no 30-year mortgage in Brazil. There's no 30-year mortgage in Colombia. There's no 30-year mortgage in England. 30-year mortgage meaning you have a 30-year mortgage where you keep the exact same interest rate that you bought the place with. There is no other place in the world that has this but the United States. This means it's likely, and this hasn't always been 30 years that you can do this. This means there's a high percentage of chance that this 30-year mortgage won't last too long. Because companies they're getting ramshacked right now by the people like me who have a 2.8 interest rate on some money that they borrowed, and the other person is paying 4%, 5%, 6% to the bank they borrowed the money from. So the bank borrowed money from another bank at 3% for 5 years. They then sold me a property at 2.8%, or they bought it from at 1% for 5 years from a company, from another bank, right? They then sold it to me at 2.8, so they made a little bit of money. As interest goes up, they have to still pay that back. If they didn't sell the loan off, even if they did sell a loan off, they still have to pay that back. So now they have a loan that they bought 7 years ago, that they sold 7 years ago. That's only making them 2.8 when you can make 4% by just putting your money in the bank in a CD or something. And they're only making 2.8 off of me for 30 more years. Don't it don't take I know sense ain't common for everybody, but common sense says there's going to be a point where the 30-year mortgage is not going to be possible in the United States. Don't worry about I'm not saying it's not. If you can afford to buy a house, buy it now. If you can afford to buy a house, know what I'm saying? Afford. Not just barely make it, but afford to buy a house. And remember, your first two houses should never be a single family. It should always be a multifamily where you're making money. But if you can afford to buy a house now. Not because you're scared that interest rates will go up. No. Not because you're scared that you might lose your job in the future. No, because the 30-year mortgage is not something that can stay around for too much longer. Maybe by the end of my life it'll be gone, because it's not anywhere else. It's not, and there's a reason. Because again, I just gave you an example. My interest on my other house is 2.8. The bank that loaned me this money for 30 years, they're crying so I pay it back faster. Can you please pay? Can you please pay it back faster? No, because it's 2.8. You can get a CD that pays more than that in the bank. So again, y'all, I just a lot of people. I would not bank. Now I'm saying I'm not a future. I can't read the future, but I would not bank that this 30-year mortgage is going to be able to stay around for too much longer in the United States. So if you can't get a place and you can afford it, and it's an income producing property, get it immediately. Get it immediately. I don't care how high the price is, as long as you're making a profit off of it and able to live free. Or if you're breaking even and you're able to live free. Because at the end of the day, you make $250,000. You take $40,000. You pay that for a down deposit, 3%. You only have to pay 3%. You pay it for down deposit. You get a duplex. The duplex costs right now maybe like 30, 32, $3,200 a month, and the other tenant is paying $2,000, $21,000 a month, $2,100, and you paying $1,000 a month. Now you're saving $1,000 off of rent, because the other person is paying $2,100. You're paying a hundred. And this is if you don't have a basement. You're talking about a two family. You're the other person is paying $2,100 a month for rent. You're paying $1,000 because the mortgage is 31. You got to fix it up and all that stuff. You got to put money aside. Cool. So let's say you add another 300. You're paying 13. Another 400. You're paying 1,400 a month. So you're saving $600 a month. And his rent on the second floor keeps going up every year. It keeps going up every year. Versus you have $40,000 in investment in the S&P or something like that. Maybe you get back. What's the S&P like 7% now? Let's say 10%. Let's just say 10%. Maybe you get back out of $40,000, you get back $4,000 a year, right? But you still got to pay rent. Your rent is $2,000 a month. You still got to pay more, or your rent is $2,100 a month, because it's gonna be more than what you pay in mortgage. You still got to pay. You still got to pay. You still don't get tax benefits when you take that money out to borrow that money. You still got to pay capital gain taxes. When you get rent, you got write-offs from expenses. I can't see it. Maybe I'm blind to the fact. Somebody probably teach me. I'm not gonna be able to see it because I'm just blind to the fact that you don't get any tax benefits from the money you make off of S&P, off of investments and stocks. But again, this is we're going on a little bit off things. So KW said stop the cap. That's not that's why you're not supposed to take the stocks out. I mean, you could borrow from the stock money to pay stuff. I hear, like Elon Musk and other people, they do that where they borrow from the stock thing, but they're able to borrow because their net worth is high. Their net worth is high because they own other investments and other real estate. If you don't own that other real estate, then you're only able to borrow what your job can accompany for off your income. So I just can't see it, y'all. Not for the average person. Definitely not for the average person. I speak for the majority of people. I don't speak for the minority of people who can do that. I speak for the majority of people. The majority of people can follow the steps I took to get to where I'm at in 10 years. Majority. Now you can say, well, maybe there's one person saying, well, that's not a lot of money, or we can do that bigger. Yeah, but that's only a small minute of people that can do that. And maybe you want to focus on being that small minority. Nah, I want to go where it works for the majority and build from that. It's more stable, it's less of a risk. Um, let's see. If you were that guy, you would not be here. You're a joke. Jay Brads, BlackRock and companies like that are buying up single family homes, driving up the cost. Yes, I do think the government is going to limit them though, because right now that BlackRock and other companies aren't buying homes as bad as the news is telling y'all. It is they're buying more than they used to buy. They're not buying as much as they used to, y'all. But I think it's going to get a point where the government stops them from buying a certain amount of money. It's going to be a number, because if they do end up not stopping them, it can get really bad. But if you understand the world, you also understand that most places that's been around. Remember, a lot of people don't understand. The United States hasn't been around as long as many other countries. So if you want to see what's possible for the future of the United States, then you have to look at a country that's similar, that's been around that's been around far longer. Something like England. If you go, I went to London, right? I'm looking at all the big houses and the stuff like that, and I'm talking to people. I'm like, yo, dang, how can people afford this? And the person says, well, most people don't own houses in London. They own flats. And the majority of flats are not even owned by people. Most people rent. I said, what do you mean? What's a flat? They said, well, a flat is like an apartment that people rent in a building. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, so it's like a condo. Yeah, a flat is like a condo. Okay. So the majority of people own condos, right? Well, the majority of people who do have a property they own condos, but the majority of people are renters. That's where I think the United States is going to end up going. Because again, you learn about what a country is going to be from other countries that have done it for longer. England and London has been around far longer than the United States. So if you want to see where the United States could go, look at London. It could be a renter nation. Where the majority of people, when they say, somebody said this before, they rent, they don't own shit, but they happy. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think there's nothing wrong. Please don't take this from me saying this is being nothing wrong with that. Because I'm not saying there's anything wrong with renting. I just don't want my kids to have to be stuck in this horse race of a cycle of having to get a job they don't like. I love my job, so I can't say I can't. Or get a job they don't like, or get a job that don't pay money to pay a rent that they can't barely afford, so they don't get a chance to live life like I live life. And I think this is why I work so hard with all the stuff I make on YouTube. Um, because I want my kids, and either other people that might be inspired, but I want my kids, if when I'm gone, my kids, I might not ever meet my grandkids. I might not ever meet my great grandkids. I may definitely never meet my great grandkids. But if they're able to come to this video right here and see why they are in a better position than all the kids that they go to school with, or all the guys and women they work with every day, they can see that, yo, my great grandfather put this thing in line so that we didn't have to be in this situation. He could have just said, you know what? Let me sell all my cribs. I'm going to be over $1 million. Let me sell all my stocks, my cribs, and I didn't say that I don't have stocks. I do have stocks, but I sell all my cribs, my stocks, sell my 401k. I'm going to be over $1 million, and let me live off of 4% of that. Let me rent an apartment so I can live off of 4% of the million. I rent an apartment. My kid go to school. He can go to public school. I ain't got to pay for Catholic school. My daughter's already out of school, and I can live off of 40%, and I ain't got to work again. I could have did that, but that's not how I want my legacy to be. I want them to be able to see that. So that's why I show you everything. Like, I post so many videos. I don't get paid for a lot of videos because I use copyrighted music. I don't get paid for these. People don't watch. I was 78 people in the room right now. If I was talking about some dramatic or reacting to a video right now, I have 300, 400, 500, 700. If I was cursing and acting, there's not saying nothing wrong with it. If I was acting the fool, I would have 100 people, 200 people, 1,000 people. And if I turned the super chats on, I would have 200 people donating. I would be making $300, $400 a live stream. But this ain't for that. This is for my kids and my grandkids, my great grandkids to know, yo, this is what your great grandfather did to make sure that you understood what was possible and how you could do it, just being an average person. Let me see. Let me see, man. You got to stop telling this bad information. S&P averages over 12% over the last 6 years. Again, I didn't say don't invest in the S&P. I'm just saying I wouldn't. Knowing the benefits of real estate, I wouldn't. You don't get tax benefits off S&P. I don't know. I don't know any tax benefits off of S&P. That's necessarily you don't. I don't know any tax benefits off of S&P. I don't. When you take the money out, I don't know. But real estate off of rental income, off of home appreciation, off of even selling the real estate, I get up to 250,000. I just sold my condo in Miami. I made 58,000. I was gonna say I made 40, but technically I made $58,000 off this place. None of that money had to go to taxes. If I sell a $220,000 investment in my S&P, how much you think I go for taxes, off capital gains, plus the state that you live in? State again, man. You guys want to do more research? I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just telling you guys my experience as a black man from Newark, New Jersey. Saint Nick, you don't have to listen to the information log off. Real estate is 3-4%. Khalil, this needs bad advice. I agree with the S&P. Khalil, I want to say something, Khalil, but I don't want you to get offended, man. I hope you. I'm gonna say something, Khalil. Please don't get offended. You have one house. You sit in your backyard all the time. I own two houses. You are 15 years older than me. Stop it. Just stop it. You're 15 years older than me. I own two houses, and I just sold my condo in Miami. It doesn't make sense. You got to understand that regardless if it's bad, it's something different. It's something different. Just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. You know, I told y'all don't take too much offense to it, bro. You sit in your backyard. You own one house. I own two houses. I'm about to buy a crib in Colombia. I'm 41 years old. You're 60 years old, bro. Stop it. Stop it. Just stop it. Let me see. Kenya Porter. Imagine being annoyed on how he wants to invest his money to live his life. I don't know. I'll be trying to stop myself from joking. My fault. If you felt offended, my bad. Not really, but you get it. Is Colombia and its government trustworthy enough to safe business in terms of buying a property in Colombia? What are the possibilities of Colombia taking that property away from foreign? Travel lover. That was a good thing. I did a lot of research with. I'm gonna read it again more smoothly so you guys can see it. Travel lover says in Colombia and its government is Colombia and its government trustworthy and safe business in terms of buying a property in Colombia? What are the possibilities of Colombia taking away the property and owner from foreigner? As I seen what was happening in Medellin and Cartagena, where they said if something happened in your property, they would take the property away from you or something like that. I was a little bit worked up on it, but as you know, again, I've been traveling to Colombia since 2019, and I've never seen anything like that. I've never heard anybody say anything like that. Also, the property is in a trust; it's not in your name. So, as it being in a trust, it's a little bit of a different tax um uh setup, but I don't plan on doing anything to be that way, uh, and I don't think so. Again, that's the major reason why I also don't want to buy in the tourist because tourist areas, they laws change really frequently. Is anything guaranteed? No, nothing is guaranteed. Um, Anything can happen. I just hope for the best. And again, if not, it's a learning process, y'all. It's a learning process for me. So I don't know what's going to happen when once I bought a property, how the things work and all that stuff like that. Um, nothing's guaranteed. I just don't see anything like that happening in the past outside of the whole if you have minors in your property. you can get your property can get taken from you in Medellin. That's the first time I ever heard about a property getting taken away from the person who owns it because of something that may happen in the property or something like that. Other than that, I don't know. I can't even give you an answer for that. Um, Let me see. Khalil Flyboy Stalker. Dark Green Potter Lonely needs attention. Brazil has the largest population outside of Black Africa. Listening to BSing. You can do it in Mexico too. No. Bahia. Thanks, Mentuition. Bahia was the other place in Brazil I was telling you about. Um, you can do Mexico. Mexico was an issue because the property. All right. So remember, I told you guys as the United States becomes less. We almost at 2 hours. As the United States becomes less affordable for many people. A lot of people, and as far as retirement, a lot of people are taking their money and they're going to places that are more secure locations that they feel more secure. For example, Costa Rica is out. Costa Rica has been a known spot for expats and for people with money trying to find somewhere they can retire for a long time. Now people are moving over to Colombia because from Costa Rica they went to Mexico, and when Mexico started getting kind of like, yo, they got all these expats here that come in, they're saving all their money. Then people started saying out Colombia, Medellin, really, just not really necessarily Colombia, but Medellin. Now, yes, some people do go to Brazil, but not the significant amount of people that go to Costa Rica or Panama or Mexico. Those three places have been. That's why a lot of them places their currency is higher, more value towards the dollar because people from the United States have been going there for centuries and building and buying property and doing that stuff for centuries. Colombia is starting to get that way, but they're starting in Medellin. Now, will they spread out more so around Colombia? Will they spread out from Medellin to Cartagena, from Cartagena to Barranquilla, from Barranquilla to Santa Marta, from Santa Marta to Bogota? Will that happen? I think it's likely, but I think they could still got places in Mexico they can go. But a lot of people in Mexico, they Merida, I'm probably saying Merida, gone. Cancun, most of it except for downtown, gone. Mexico City, gone meaning the amount of expats and retirees from the states that live there has increased the price to amount that it's relegated almost like the United States. So Costa Rica gone, Panama gone. So like again, Colombia, Medellin. I don't want to say Medellin is gone yet. Give it 3 years. Give it 3 years. Give it 3 years. Where are we? We're in 2000 what? 2015, 2025. Give it to 2028. Medellin might become like Panama, where the price, it might not be the whole Colombia. It might solely be Medellin, where the price for a place, shoot, you might as well be renting in the States. My opinion. Um, yeah, again, Salvador Bahia, that's what I'm gonna say. Colombia actually has mountainous areas with snow. Thanks, KW. Yeah, Salvador Bahia. Yeah, Colombia has a snow area too. But I'm this far up. Exactly, money took the cap. Your 401k is a stock plan. What are you talking about? Side over here. What's going on, OG? OG Mike Travels in the building. Make sure you subscribe to OG Mike Travel channel. He just started his channel. Definitely doing some big moves. He was he was walking with us on the march. Have y'all seen the videos? Limon has an airport, but it's small. Yes, it's not an international airport, but he does. He's right. Limon does have an airport. I don't think it's an international airport, and I'm not sure if you could fly from San Jose to Limon. I did see that. I knew it didn't have an international, but it does have an airport. Thanks. 6% ain't know if you know your police 10 401k. You ain't gonna have when you retire. I'm not banking on me personally. I don't bank on my 401k to retire. I bank more on my real estate and maybe a little social security, but my knowledge of owning real estate. Like again, that's why the purpose for me with buying a property in Colombia is that I own. When I own, I only pay the HOA fee and the taxes in Colombia, which would be like $100 a month. So for me, can I do $100 a month? Maybe even if it goes to $300 a month, can I do $300 a month in Colombia? Yes. Every month for the 6 months I'm there, $300 a month is $1,800. So I pay $1,800. Maybe if I'm maybe to stay there for the whole year, I pay $3,600 a year to have a place I can go to Colombia at all times. And then the food around there is inexpensive. The nightlife around it inexpensive. Women down there inexpensive. I mean, like it's it's a better long term play in my book. But I can understand um people that's banking on their 401k to be there when they retire. I'm still building up my 401k again. I think I got like I don't know, like 20,000. I think I got like 20,000 in my 401k right now. I'm not sure. Probably I don't even check it really no more. But I think I got like 20,000 in my 401k. I'll be working for another what 9 years. So maybe I put another. Maybe I have another 30,000. Maybe I in my 401k I have $50,000. I don't know. That's just my portion. I'm not talking about the portion my company gives me. Remember, my company matches it. So if I have $50,000 in it, my company matches. Maybe I have $100,000 by the time I'm retired. I retire at 50. I don't know. I'm not really focused on that. I mean, I can't. I'm not. I can't tell y'all what I make. I'm not going to tell y'all what I make from my properties, but I make more. I make a lot more from these real estate from these two I'm just gonna say 5 units. I make a lot more from the 5 units I rent than I make at my job. A lot more. So I'm not really banking in the places I own my properties in are prime locations. I, I'm not worried about that. So yeah, I'll say that. Yo, show enough in the building. What's going on? What's going on? Show enough. Um, Nate said, "Yep, you'll see me in Carnival too." Okay, okay. Again, not this year. I'm not going, but I'm definitely gonna go for Carnival sometime. Um, Lamont is like, I'm way back up. Lamont is like Cologne and Panama. Okay. I haven't been to Cologne and Panama yet. Chill, bro. I'm itching for the next trip. Fly boy, I appreciate that, Golden Child. Appreciate that. My most shout out to Golden Child in the building, y'all. And when you talk about it, bro, show the paperwork. The paperwork. What are you talking about paperwork? Then we can set. I I think KW might have just came in. He might have came in late. I showed everything on the thing. I showed everything on the thing. And if you are, I'm guessing KW is in real estate. If you know real estate, you can just look up who owns the place. My name is there. Everybody knows my name. Everybody knows my name. Like my name is my real name. My real name is there. So I mean, that's why I say a lot of times I'll be wondering if people do the research before they talk because you can. I've shown the property in years and I guess um real and the fake. These YouTubers be faking too much. Show the paperwork, fly boy. Do I have the paperwork too? You know what? Do I have the paperwork? Give me a second, y'all. I don't want to show my email though. Oh, how do I show the paper? I could. I know a lot of people like, oh, you don't have to, but it don't bother me. I know people you don't have to show it. Don't prove nothing to them. Nah, listen, it's easier to just show it and then shut them up than have them keep talking. Give me a second, y'all. Um, I can't open that one. Let me see. Give me a second, y'all. We got time. Mm. Come on, where's that? Which one can I show? Give me a second, y'all. Um, um, I'm loving it. View documents. I'll get y'all comments. Don't give me a second. Just give me a second. I'll get y'all comments. Perfectly. Nope. Give me a second. Give me a break. Give me a break. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. Mm. Okay, here we go. Let's do this right here. How do I show this? I show my email. I close this email. This email is on my page. I don't worry about this one. Mm, give me a break. Give me a break. Give me a piece of that Kit Kat. Review document. I know y'all chilling right now. We just I just trying to figure out which document I could show. Ah, here we go. Um, um, See, because I don't think people would know about the title and stuff, man. I don't think people would know about the title and stuff, y'all. Um, I don't think people know about the title and stuff. I gotta get something that's Sun. Let me see, Sunbelt Pinecrest. Yeah, Sunbelt Agency. Let's see. Um, all right, so this should be good enough. Um, all right, so I'll show you this screen right here. This might help you, I guess. I don't know. To me, it might help you. Hopefully, you can see it. The screen right here. As you can see, these are the messages from the Sunbelt Title Agency of the unit I got right here. I I really want to show you the thing. I don't know about giving the email out and stuff, so let me not do that. But as you can see, completed seller information needed. 800 West Avenue, Miami Beach, Florida. Blah blah blah. Documents has been completed. You complete documents. Seller info needed. Just, as you're closing, there's a lot of stuff they need you to sign and fill out. So these are just some of the documents. Again, August 5th, completed seller. August uh all this stuff right here. You can see again. I know people like, oh, you don't have to show them that. Yeah, but why not? If it's gonna stop them, if it's gonna stop them from yeah. So good afternoon. Is there anything I need to sign before closing to early next week? My name, address, all this stuff. Private documents. Again, they have like a private stuff. They don't just giving you guys how it sells. When you sell something, they make you sign all this stuff, this notary stuff. You actually got to have. I actually had to pay for a witness, which is weird as hell to me. I had to pay like $20 for a witness to be there, and the lady came up. No, it's $20. I think I paid like $50 for the witness to come up there, and the witness was there for like literally 2 minutes. Like she literally came up there and said, "I'm witnessing this, that he's signing this," and then she got off the call. I'm like, well, damn, I paid $50 for 2 minutes. So again, man, like yeah, it is what it is. You gotta do what you gotta do, y'all. Let me see. Let's see. Where do we end off at? Hold on. Let me see where we end off at. I have to show the paperwork. My HELOC took a week to go through, but it was from a company that I got my mortgage through. Yeah, that's the thing, though. For me, because I have an investment property, because I even though it's my primary residence, because it's an investment property, my company that I have my mortgage with won't allow me to take the HELOC from them. So I had, go somewhere else to get it done. But it's no biggie. It's no biggie. Um let's see. There's another point for the HELOC. There's another point for the HELOC they usually done in the week. The first HELOC I got, it took me like 4 weeks. So I don't know. It took me like 4 weeks. The one I'm looking at now, most places say 5. But the first HELOC, it took me 4 weeks. From opening to closing, it took me like 4 weeks. It only cost me $50 a year, like to keep the HELOC going. It only cost me $50 a year, and I think I got it for 10 years. I could be wrong. I think I got it until like 2027. But I think it took 4 weeks to get that HELOC. I don't think it was that long. $100 bank account is bad. Inflation is 4%. Um, Let me see. Paper Chase, you heard? What up, Paper Chase? 372 in the building. What's up, man? Um, Ralph, are you planning to rent the property in Colombia? No, I don't plan to rent my place in Colombia. Will I? I don't know. I definitely want to get in a building that allows Airbnb, but I don't really necessarily want to rent it because I think I want to use it for my personal space. And if I'm putting a lot of my clothes and other stuff in that unit, it's going to be very difficult to rent it. I mean, I will have an owner's clause because I'm definitely getting a 2 bedroom. I originally wanted to get a place in District 90 because District 90 is a brand new building. It's about 4 years old, 3 years old. That I've been in. I stayed in many times before, but their 2 bedrooms didn't have a balcony, and it made no sense to me. And I don't want to get a studio because eventually, if I'm keeping this long term, I want to be able to have a kid. And if I'm there with a kid and we only living in the studio, it's kind of squished. So I'd rather have if I can get a duplex, at least a 2 bedroom. Let's see. Nomad, what up? What up? Salute to your Cali trip. Content was fire, bro. I enjoyed the Cali trip so much. Shout out to all the creators I met in the Cali trip. Shout out to Mentuition for helping me out with the live streams. Shout out to the homie A1 Day One Kings and Dreams in the building. Shout out to homie Kobe, the homie G. We're gonna probably link up again in Barricade Carnival. I don't know if I gotta see. I'm still putting together to see if Mentuition is available to do the Barricade Carnival the same way with the lives. I like the live aspect of things, and because I've done edited content with these places so much already, I do want to do more lives in these places because I think that in the future, and I'm only going to do lives once. I won't do a live in Cali as far as with a group doing a big live like I do with Mentuition. Again, I'll do lives like I normally do, but I won't make it a big product production again because a lot of people don't understand. The live that myself and Mentuition did, International and Steve, as a production. Like it was a whole production. I had to plan out stuff. I had to say stuff, and then Mentuition, they knew where to film. They knew how to do the filming and get those certain angles. They knew how to cut the live and bring the live back on when there was issues. So between me directing it and them helping me produce it, that was a production. Like it's not just it wasn't as easy as people think. Where they think they're just going to go to a country, turn on a live, and just walk down the street. No, there was scenes and there was a lot of money involved. There's places you have to go. There's people that have to get paid. There's Airbnbs, that locations that you have to spot out. Just the Airbnb alone with the jacuzzi and the pool, you had to be in the organization of the 24-hour lot. It's a lot to it. So definitely appreciate people watching it. It was never about how many people watched it to me. It was always about the quality of content because again, a lot of people going for what's popping right now, but I'm more long term. Let me see. KW Khalil obviously new to the channel. I think so too. Well, Khalil's not new. He just I think again. I don't know. I don't see much. Not in this live at least. Down with the receipts over the past couple years buying the condo. Yeah, I don't know. Are you going to Airbnb? I said, no, I'm not going to Airbnb that. I work in finance. This cap. Shout out to Wes Milano in the building. Make sure you hit up the channel, y'all. Freddie Mac, Flyboy, is it a good idea to buy a condo in Miami? It depends. It depends what your risk assessment is. I still kind of want to get a place in Miami, just a real inexpensive place, because Miami is a easier place to catch flights to South America than New Jersey. New Jersey, we have New York right there. We can catch flights easy too. It's just a little bit more expensive. In Miami, most flights go to Miami. They go to Florida before they go to Colombia. They go to Florida before they go to Panama. They go to Florida before they go to Brazil. I mean, not Brazil. Brazil, they go to Houston. So I do kind of want to get like a cheap property in Miami where I could just have, but I'm not really in a rush to do that. So for me, it wouldn't be advantageous, but I think if you're willing to take the risk of what's going to happen in the condo market, what could happen in the condo market, yeah, hell yeah. I think Florida's still going to be going up. Again, I did a video called Follow the Money. I did a video called Follow the Money. All the billionaires, the majority, not all, majority of billionaires, the majority of millionaires own property in Florida. There's a reason why. So, follow the money. I like Flyboy, but giving cap information regarding finances, it's his opinion. Those dudes have never had $40,000 in tuition. Type in the caps make you right. No one agrees with you here. It's cool, man. Again, I don't block anybody. The only people I block is if you spam on the channel, then I'm going to block because it's interrupting the conversation. But because people disagree with me, I'm not going to block them. I'll answer them, and if I answer them in a way where I feel as though, dog, it's just common sense, or I show them the receipts and they still go against it, then eventually I'll just stop looking at their comments when it refers to that. But I'm not going to block anybody. I feel like everybody speak what you want to speak. Sometimes when someone says something, I have an opportunity to either not prove them wrong, but show them that, hey, what you're saying sound doesn't make sense, and this is why. And then somebody who might have been on the fence with it, now they see that and they're like, oh, I understand it fully. So again, it don't really bother me. Um, Go. Then you stay. Heck, even 10K is better than nothing. Stop. Dark Green, what's going on? Marquise, I'm sorry I'm late to the stream. What are the plans on putting the 40K? Wait. Marquise says, I'm sorry, I'm late to the stream. What are you planning on putting the 40K that you have into? I already talked through that. Hopefully you heard. I'll give a brief summary. That 40K, 41K I got from the sale profit. I mixed that with the 50K I had already from the investment. That 91K I paid off all my debt. I have about a little bit less than about $6,000 left. From I had 10,000, I had $6,000 left now. I plan on going to get my home equity loan, then taking that 85,000, buying between 65 and 85,000 to buy a condo in Colombia, completely cash off. Pay my lawyer. My lawyer's 5,000 over there. The maximum won't be 5,000, probably less. But um, and then I'm going to pay it off over the next 15 years at $600 a year. So that's my plan on what I'm doing next. It's just I do have to find a place that I want to stay at, and I do have to start the process. It's going to take 2 months to It's going to take 2 months to clear all my credit, so my credit goes up to 800. It's going to take another month to get the home equity line of credit. It's going to take another 2 months to my fault, not 2 months. It's going to take another 6 weeks to then get the money into the trust in Colombia, and then from there I'll be able to in January 1st I'll be able to automatically buy whatever I really want. Um, Let me see. Chalupa retired at 52. My Social Security payment would be 32 a month. Woo, that's nice. When I collect the 62, it would be 38. Me personally, I think I would always want to collect at 67. The reason why is because I feel as though if the average, we over 2 hours now. We're gonna end this soon. If the average lifespan is 75 years, 72 years for a black person, 74 years for a white person. So let's just say both as a man, 75 years. If you take that money at 67, you still got 7 years on average to have a great life to do stuff. If you take that money at 70, you got 5 years to spend. It don't even make no sense. If you take the money at 62, you still got 13 years in earth to be healthy and able to move and have fun, most likely. So for me, I can't imagine. I cannot imagine. Again, no offense, Khalil. No offense. I can't imagine being 60 years old, still working at the post office or still working at FedEx because I have to pay bills because I didn't set up my life to be in a way where I didn't have to work. Because I know I'm most likely dead at 75. So at 60, I'm still working. That means I don't work I don't work 40 years of my life to live out 15 years with not having to work. It's not my thing, bro. I just can't imagine living like that, y'all. I mean, I know it's a different generation. I know we have more knowledge of the world through the internet and stuff. So I don't blame like Khalil for living that way or feeling that way, or people like that old 60 for feeling that way. But in this generation, and I hope that my children feel the same way, dog, I'm not working 40 years to die in 15 years after I finish working. That's wild. So I'm going to try to retire as soon as I can and find a lifestyle where I'm able to retire and enjoy myself without having to struggle. And that lifestyle for a lot of people from the United States, and we're lucky, no matter how bad people think the United States is, that lifestyle for people in the United States is overseas. It may not be Colombia for you, it may be Brazil, it may be Costa Rica, it may be Panama, it may be Trinidad, it may be Jamaica, it may be Cuba, it may be one of these other places. But dog, I can't see anyone. Let me see. Let me take a poll. Pause. Let me do it. I'm not going to do a poll. Just ask you a question. If you think working No offense, Khalil. If you think in the chat right now, if you think working 40 years till you 60 to retire for 15 years before you die is worth it, type one in the room. If you think you want to maximize that time and maybe only work 30 years, I'd say 30 from 20 to 50, so that you can have at least 25 years to really enjoy life and retire it, type two in the room. I think that's the biggest difference between a lot of people that are younger and a lot of people that are older, and a lot of people who have the knowledge of travel and a lot of people who don't leave the United States. The desire to work the majority of a life to enjoy a small portion of your life where you're free to do it as you please. So that's why I can't get mad at people like Khalil. I can't get mad at people like KW because they didn't grow up. I was born in 1984. They didn't grow up in the same environment I grew up where I had to. I've been on AOL. Though I've been on the internet since I was 9 years old when they invented this. Before AOL, there was MSN. I've been on the internet exploring the world outside of the world I know. I'm 41 now, so I've been on the internet for I've been on the internet for 32 years. So I know about this stuff. So I don't get upset, I don't get angry, or I don't get emotional when I see people like Khalil and KW who may not know the world in the same sense I do, and they don't see things in the same way. So they're okay with sitting in their backyard in the one house they own at 60 years old, still going to work every day at the post office. But for me, I can't see that, man. Again, this is why it's called the flyboy way. It's not saying it's the best way. It's just saying it's another way to make it to the top. Let me see. Where's Milano? I appreciate that, Milano. Um, just fun. Congrats. Paying off a pre-construction El Poblado. I like the pre-construction idea because you get it for a less price. The issue is I don't trust it. Because if I trusted the pre-construction, boy, you can get some pre-construction for like $60,000. That's 2 bedroom, brand new, in a area 6 or area in the area 6 of Medellin or Barranquilla. That's reasonably priced. I just don't trust stuff that's not already built overseas. Yeah, I just don't trust stuff that's not already built overseas. Even though you don't have to leave all the money at once, you can pay as it goes along. I've seen what happened in Tulum, and I knew it was going to happen. I didn't know. I had an idea it was going to happen in Tulum. Where what happened was that a lot of people invested in Tulum, and the builders didn't finish building it. And then the people got stuck with trying to go through the court system to get stuff done. And that right there is something I don't think I'll be able to mentally play on my heart. Um, Colombia has 20-year mortgage, and England has 5 years. Um, uh, yeah, England had the 5 years readjusted, so they don't have the 30-year mortgage. And Colombia has a 20-year mortgage for Colombians, maybe not for us, but even that is not a 30-year mortgage. 30-year mortgage, a 20-year mortgage is closer to a HELOAN, where you can do 15 years. But the 30-year mortgage only in the United States. Let me see. Flyboy, thanks for all you do. We are black men traveling the world, not deadbeat or not dead or in jail. We winning Jersey in the building. I'm in Vegas. Okay. 40 bands to the good is great. I appreciate that, man. More Miss America. Columbia has a 20-year. Okay, here's where 20. You guys know 20 and 30 is not the same, right? I just want to know. I just want to know. You guys know 20 and 30 is not the same. So when I say someone doesn't have a 30-year mortgage, it's not 20. If somebody has a 20-year mortgage, it's not the same as a 30-year mortgage. Just I know sometimes we get confused, but yeah. Let's see. Dominican Republic has a 25-year mortgage, still not a 30-year mortgage. Still not a 30-year mortgage. um, flights of fights. This guy can't spell Colombia properly, but wants to argue. I won't advise anybody to invest in a country where you can't speak the language. I also, very careful with investing in developing countries. All right, Eric Terry, if you're still here, I kind of agree, but I understand somewhat. Um, I understand somewhat because I don't feel as though in Mexico you need to speak Spanish to invest in Mexico, and I don't feel as though in Costa Rica you need to speak Spanish to invest in Costa Rica because the second language is English. Brazil, I personally think Brazil, you need to speak Spanish. But I know some people who've invested in Brazil who didn't. I mean, my fault. I know Brazil, you need to speak Portuguese. But I know some people who invested in Brazil, and a couple people who don't speak Portuguese, and they got good investments. So I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying for me, for my risk tolerance, if yo no hablo the idioma de la país yo visito, o yo tengo un property in, yeah, I don't think I could buy either. But it's my opinion. I think that's an opinion. I don't know if it's a fact. I don't feel as though it's a fact. So, but I do agree. I just don't think it's a fact. Um, so Colombians have 30 years mortgage. You know, see how long Colombian mortgage was. Hit the like button, y'all. Appreciate that. How long we got? Oh, we got a lot of messages. I'm gonna speed through a lot of messages because we over 2 hours. I'm gonna see if anybody got questions or certain comments. So but thanks for tuning in. I'm gonna speed through it though. Because my son's bedtime. Mortgage is debt, deaf debt. Miami condos worst investment strictly. United States is largely argument for 30-year fixed rate mortgage. Um, the United States is largely unique in dominance for 30-year mortgage. Big fact is making different characters in American mortgage markets, while including Canada. Yeah. Let me see. I advise people not to buy a home in South Florida, but keep coming here. Australia mortgages fixed; they typically shorter in 5 years. However, other countries offer mortgages very low payments to terms. Yes, that's right. At 30 years, including Netherlands. Oh, okay, so Netherlands has 30 years. I didn't know that either. I learned something new. And some European countries like Spain and France. I didn't know they had a fixed one though. Oh, the fixed is short time. Okay, so it is not fixed. Okay, but they do have 30. It's just not fixed. Yeah. All right, cool. Thanks, Strictly. Luxury travelers. Not sure a Miami condo is a bad investment. Depends on how much. Again, it really depends on how much and where. And your risk. People don't understand. A bad investment is based on your risk tolerance. That's the most thing is investing. Your risk tolerance. Like, I mean, it's not only risk tolerance, it's what you get back, but it's definitely your risk tolerance. Fuzzy Dread, what's going on? 6 figures. So the condo monthly fee is ridiculous now. Reassessment. Are you talking about your own investment or generally speaking? Reassessment. Were you talking about the assessment meaning on the property? All right. So when you hopefully I'm Lux, if you're still here, I'm explaining this a little bit better. When the building needs to fix stuff in Miami, they have to do a special assessment. When they do a special assessment, it's like they figure out how much it's going to cost and they divide it among all of the They do a bunch of different developers to see who do. I mean, contractors to see who the best price. They then divide that price among all the people who own it in the condo or in the HOA. So that's what I mean. A special assessment that was coming up. Now, luckily, here's the thing about Florida, and it's crazy for me. If you know there's a special assessment coming up and you know how much it is, you have to notify the seller. But if you know there's a special assessment coming up, but you don't know how much it is, you don't have to notify the seller in Florida. I knew it was a special assessment coming up, but they've been holding it off for so long because they wanted to see if they've been holding off the price for and the information on that special assessment for so long because they wanted to see what the government is going to do with with the emergency stuff. That by the time I sold my place, I still didn't know how much that special assessment was going to be. It could have been $10,000. It could have been $30,000. Now it wasn't going to be something crazy like 100,000 like a lot of other places because I live in a luxury condo and we paid a higher HOA fee. I lived in a luxury condo and we pay a higher HOA fee because the stuff gets fixed automatic right away. But again, the special assessment on top of maybe having to fix the cooler because it was old or having to fix, yeah, it just to me it wasn't worth it. Let me see. Florida passed new law condo collapse. Yeah. Let me see. You could borrow off the value of your stock. You can't borrow off the value of your stock if you don't have the adequate income for the bank that you're borrowing the money from to say you can pay this back. So if my job only makes $20,000, but I have $200,000 on the value of the stock, the bank, no bank is going to guarantee is going to grant me $100,000 loan if I'm only making $20,000. There's no bank that's going to do that. you still need to have the financial means to pay that money back for the bank to give it to you. Trust me, I know fully. I know fully. I've been through that already. Again, I've been through that already. So, um, it depends where you buy. Luxury properties aren't selling in Florida. A home crisis, and yeah, the home is a little bit different too. Like if I was to buy in Florida, I wouldn't buy another condo. My opinion. If I was to buy in Florida, I wouldn't buy another condo. I would buy a small house that I can buy on a piece of land that I can go to. I wouldn't buy a small. I wouldn't buy, especially with the new squatter laws that they getting people out of there fast in Florida. I would buy if I could buy a house for 100,000 in Florida and it's got its own piece of land and there's no HOA. I would buy it and I would just go down there whenever I want to, once or twice a month, because as long as it's within a 34 or maybe an hour ride from the airport, I think it's still worth it. In my opinion, I think it's still worth it. And no HOA, I think it's still worth it. Especially with them talking about getting rid of property taxes. Woo! Let me see. Shout out to DCRP in the building. Y'all make sure y'all check out the interview I did with DCRP. It's on the live interview channel, area section of the playlist. Really dope interview. We spoke on some amazing stuff about the world. Check it out, y'all. Appreciate that, man. But condo sales are record high, right? In Miami, inventory is property locations talking to each other. I'm in South Florida. I'm well aware my dad has multiple properties in liquidating. Let me see. Yeah. Shout out to yeah. That's. I mean, I get it. But there's again, the billionaires still live in Florida. I think a lot of people are liquidating condos and some houses, but I think they're still keeping their money in Florida. My opinion. Dude, they are having a hard time selling condos. It depends on what they on each other. Okay. Let me see. I'm trying to see in the comments. Dude, did you pay taxes on your? All right. So the Brooklyn Prophet says, dude, you pay taxes when you sell real estate? No. Okay. Yes, you have to pay taxes when you sell real estate. But in Florida, there's no state tax. So you don't have to pay state tax. In Florida, there's only capital gains on the federal level, which is 15% from long-term investments. A long-term investment is any investment that you held for over a year. I had the place for almost 5 years. When you sell a primary property, which is a property you lived in for at least 2 out of the 5 years, I lived in it for almost 3 years out of the 5 years, you have a $250,000 credit as a single person to put against any profit you made. So while the profit technically is $58,000, I didn't have to pay anything because the first $250 is a credit that I get for selling the primary property. Thus, in the long term, I didn't pay any taxes on the profit I made. But I can understand someone say you did pay taxes, they just gave you a tax credit. So I don't disagree, or just a different way of looking at it. Let me see. Strictly Travels. I believe that's what you're talking about. Boy, biochemistry. Let me see. Do foreigners? Okay, so foreigners. Okay, this is gonna be crazy. If I'm not completely on right, I can only go when I researched. Foreigners can own land in Colombia. You cannot own land in Colombia or Mexico under your name if you're within 30 miles of the border or 30 miles of the water, meaning of the coast of the Colombia or Mexico, or the coast or the borderline of Colombia and another country. Thus, they allow you to put it in a trust. And the trust is 2 different trusts you can get that I know of, Alleganzar and something else. You put the money in the trust and you own it on the trust, and the property in your name in the trust. Barranquilla is on the coast, so I did it that way. I'm doing it that way. Sorry. Let me see. Remember the new governments. Remember, a new government in Colombia can seize all property. Again, I don't know. Like we talked about that. So I don't know. I haven't seen it, but I've heard of the what's name because of the laws of what's name, but you mean to tell us Khalil knows you and he's hating? Quote Dr. Umar, he must be his y'all crazy. Let me get your account. I want to see my any questions. I don't really want to let you guys talk about it. Let me see. Unless your house paid for, you don't own it. Back strictly days. I mean, strictly, what do you do for work? Make six figures. Nate your state. And Thailand would be next. Thailand, you can't even own your property. Um, yeah. Flyboy spitting game. I took my first trip to Latin. Okay, Tom. Um, let me see. The white Jordans is fire. What white Jordans? Oh, these joints right here. Those are the only ones I didn't get from China. I got from StockX because I needed them last minute. Um, why only 40K? It was 240 in last. 40K is the profit. I had a mortgage on it for 104, and I had already and I had already put down payments and paid down a lot of the costs. Shout out to Two Jersey in the building. What do you think at South Florida market? Do you think if you held onto the property longer, would it raise the value? No, I think it's not worth the risk. I don't think it was worth the risk. We're way over 2 hours. I don't think it was worth the risk to hold on to that property based on my risk tolerance. Shout out to Jay Brash. First, the reason I went to Cartagena. I can't believe to that guy. I appreciate that, man. I think Colombia's price will skyrocket once the more serious. I think Colombia price won't really skyrocket. It will go up. It will go up. Medellin for sure. For sure, Medellin will go up. Cartagena as well. I think it will go up a little bit. But I think the thing that's stopping stopping Colombia prices from skyrocketing is that Mexico isn't full yet. It's getting there. It isn't full. Costa Rica's full. Unless you want to live out in the woods in Limon, Costa Rica's full. Mexico really isn't full. I mean, you can live out in Haku, maybe, and still get something, but still be expensive. But Costa Rica was first. Mexico's still, you can still go to places in Mexico, just not that many places. But once Mexico gets full, it's gonna be a barrage to Colombia, Medellin specifically, Cartagena specifically, and the surrounding areas. My opinion. Lights real estate. I'm planning on buying a place in Cartagena 1 year. This is a good live. I appreciate that live. Lights. If you're planning on buying a place in Cartagena, make sure you hit up Langdon Law Firm. Check out the video I did with the lawyer from Langdon Law Firm. The owner for Langdon Law Firm on my own channel. It's called How to Buy a Property in Colombia. I'm 51. Yeah, 60. Yeah. We need to see a birth certificate, Khalil. We don't believe you're 51, man. We need to see a birth certificate, man. Let's see. Brooklyn. Why? Whatever your friend is want to talk. Let me see. I don't remember him saying that. Khalil. Shout out to V Swells and Traveling in the building. We're gonna end this live real soon. I just want to show you guys. I appreciate you guys joining the live by going to everybody's comment. So if you want to go, you can go. We may show the properties, just a couple properties. Once I get to the end of the comments, we may show a couple properties in Barranquilla. The ones I'm telling you again, between 65 and 85,000. I was even thinking about getting a house. I'm not really comfortable with that yet, but we'll look at it and looking more into it. But we'll give you that. Shout out to oh crap, David. Be careful with the international real estate, no refinancing and no resale. Yeah. I don't. Again, when I took the idea that I wanted to buy a property in Colombia, I plan on never selling. I plan on never getting this money back. I say, there's no way anybody's gonna want to buy it after I buy it. That was my intentions, and the reason why I was able to do this is because I already have property in the States where I'm comfortable with. If I only had these two properties in the States, my kids is good. My kids each got a house. This money is money that I'm just saying is for me, for retirement and the way I want to live. So I'm assuming that I'll never be able to sell this property, which means I'm going to definitely have to have a kid in Colombia because I know my kid, my daughter and my son, they're going to have a house themselves. They're not looking to go to Colombia, most likely right now at least. They're not going to be looking to go to Colombia to own a place. So I'm definitely going to have a kid in Colombia. If I'm 60 years, if I don't have one until I'm 60 years old, till I'm 70 years old in Colombia, I'm gonna be like, I know I'm not gonna be able here that long. I might only be here 10 years, but you got this crib right here because again, I'm going to own a crib in Colombia. We'll see. Flyboy, do you say goodbye to your neighbor Jeff Bezos? I ain't saying goodbye to Jeff Bezos, man. He had the security out there, yo. And Oprah Winfrey, and Future, and P Diddy was well, he's still locked up, so. Um, first of all, anytime for anytime what's his name? Let's see. Columbia Price look. Okay. Let me see. Everyone online is a millionaire. Let's see. After I got laid off, became an independent. I could find a job. Oh, they told each other. Okay. Um. Let's see. Do your research. International money is very expensive. Interest rate 40%. That's crazy. Um. Wow, come on, man. How many comments I got left? I'm just trying to get to any of y'all comments because I appreciate y'all. But I gotta speed through a lot of these comments because man, you guys having conversations with each other too. Um, Shucks, it just jumped up. Wow. All right, here we go. All right, cool. All right, let me see. Do your research. Okay, the part. Let's have an online debate, and I'll be in my. I know Chica's who brother. I know Chica's who brother government. Okay, so, um, let me see. I'm trying to read anybody got comment. Any questions? What happens once they are on the market? Average salary in the United States 50K. Colombia is 2K. Um, sorry, 5K in Colombia. Hell no, not well. Maybe Colombia, but that is way less than Cali. As far as the average salary. Um, so anything you never be enough. Let's see. 20 guys in 401K at the 20th year. Okay, cool. Um, Your type of property investing in Colombia. Okay, Lonzo. All right, Lonzo the kid asks, "Sorry, I joined a little late. What type of property are you investing in Colombia? Is it a one bedroom or two bedroom apartment? How much do you expect will be the monthly rent while you're not there?" Okay, so I'm investing in I'm buying a property between 65,000 and 85,000. It will be a two bedroom. I was originally going to get a one bedroom or a studio just so I could have something myself. But when I said I want to do this long term because I don't plan on ever selling it and I don't think it's ever going to sell, if I wanted to, so I plan on getting a two bedroom that I could give to my kid over there. If I do rent it, I may get like $40 a night, maybe $50 a night. During Carnival, maybe I get $100 a night. That's only 2 weeks. So if on average I get $40 a night, let's say I don't rent it every week. Let's say I only rent it 2 weeks a month. I mean, or if I rent it monthly, I wouldn't rent it monthly. I wouldn't rent it monthly because I wouldn't want anybody that would feel like they live there. I mean, well, I wouldn't rent it monthly to anybody that's not a foreigner. I wouldn't rent it to a local monthly. But if I rent it to a foreigner, it may be only like $500, maybe 600 two bedroom. So maybe $600 a month. So they pay the uh, the mortgage. It would be I would rent it for I would make maybe $600 to $800 a month. So if I was to rent it, I would make $600 to $800 a month for rent, only so that it pays the the fee of the from the He loan I gotta pay. If that covers that, is and the what's the name, and they cover the monthly fee. Again, I'm just trying to make. I wouldn't try to make more than that. I have no dislike or hate against you. I don't know you. The question is, man, when I'm allowed to be backyard. Now I'm cool. Um, how are you going to debate when you don't? I don't have no clue. Um, why is he buying in Africa? He says, why is he not buying in Africa or the Caribbean? Mm. I am not buying in Africa because my daughter is Ghanaian. She's going to stay here. She's not going to Africa to live for a long time. So if my daughter, even though my daughter's grandmother, who I know very well, lives in Africa and got in the cross still, I wouldn't buy in Africa unless I have a kid there. And having a kid there would be difficult because it takes a long time to get to Africa, to get to Ghana from where I live in New Jersey. If I want to go to New York, it takes an hour to get to New York, hour and a half, and then I got to take a 10-hour flight, which is going to be expensive to go to Ghana. I then have to have enough trust in the people that live over there, which is a long distance away, to leave and think that my crib is going to be okay. I don't have that much trust. In Colombia, it's a lot different. It'll take me 5 to 6 hours to get to Barranquilla. If I really need an emergency right away, I'll call my cousin up who's in Cartagena at his condo, and I'll say, "Yo, take a ride to my condo real quick, check that." Or I'll call my military friend who I know, who I've known in Barranquilla since I first went. So I know him for what, 6 years? Yo, go to my place real quick and check that out. Again, that's the reason why I wouldn't buy it in Africa. The Caribbean, I just didn't think it was a good investment because I don't feel as though it's a good investment to buy a place on the island. The island is too small. I think if anything changes more than anything, it's going to be the island because the island is going to be nationalist. The people are going to be more for the people from the island. So I wouldn't want to buy on or own on the island in the Dominican Republic or Jamaica or Cuba, a little bit different. But yeah, I wouldn't want to own like that. Just trying to get y'all comment, the ones that got comments. Let me see. Let me see. See. What? Wait, I believe you own a property, but to make only $90,000 on a piece of property in Miami, it's a lot. You ain't telling us you own a lot of money. You owed a lot of money on the house. You probably was underwater. How could I be underwater? Jeez, this is Khalil. You making me think you don't own a house for real. That doesn't even make sense. That doesn't make sense. How could you be underwater on a house you just brought? That means you would have to go underwater on the house you bought in 2020 when the market went up. Yeah, man. See that? I'll be putting faith in people to think that people be having some kind of intelligence on certain things. Then they say something that just made me scratch my head. It's crazy. Let me see. Let me keep reading the comments, y'all. Trying to get y'all comments that got questions. Before we get to the property. Let me see. I appreciate that, Brooklyn GQ. Appreciate that, man. Freddie Mac, again, he said, Flyboy, Miami, good time. Good about. It depends on your income. It depends on your risk tolerance. Income and risk tolerance. Sitting on some cash, getting rid of it. Again, it really depends on what you want to use it for. I personally wouldn't invest in condos again in Florida. I would definitely, if I had an extra 100 sitting around, if I can get a property that's close to the airport in Florida, like Fort Lauderdale or even Miami Airport, that's not on like on a manufactured home, like a not on a trailer park or something. If I can get a real property where I have some land for $150,000, I would take it, own it, and I'll just rent it out, fix it up, and rent it out. Because I think if they really make this big change, and I don't know if it's true, but if they make this big change in Florida with no property taxes going, Scott, price is gonna go crazy. Price is gonna go crazy. Price is gonna go crazy. I'm saying that 3 times. 3 times, price is gonna go crazy. 4 times. So again, it really depends. Let me see. If you're not married, you're moving out to the United States, take your Social Security early. Yeah, I'm not married either. I definitely wouldn't get married. Let me see. Not quite familiar with the Kenyan market. Yeah, I'm definitely. Two. See, I think a lot of people agree. Out to DR. 3. I want to semi-retire early in my 40s. So a lot of people don't want to work to 60. I can get it. I get it. Honestly, not one. 2, retired at 52. Too many people I know didn't make it to retirement. Again, y'all. Again, man. Listen. I think a lot of people make a plan for when they retire. Crash is coming. I don't know. Because it's going to be hard for me, it's going to be difficult. Pause. It's going to be difficult for me to see a crash in Florida at the same time if they get rid of property tax. I just, yo, if they get rid of property tax, it's going to be so big of a wealth gap in the United States. It's going to look like, oh my God, it's going to look horrible, yo. I'm telling you, if they get rid, mark my word, if they get rid of property taxes in Florida, the wealth gap in the United States, everyone that live in Florida is going to be making $1 million because no property tax, no state tax is a freaking wealth haven. Every other investment is not going to be worth it no more. Because now I don't got to pay state tax and property tax. Everything getting bought up. Everything getting bought up in Florida. But again, it may not happen. Condo fees in Miami hurting seniors. Yeah, Freddie Mac, that was the thing. It wasn't hurting me because I was getting $300 a month, but a lot of people, yeah, hurting seniors. Let me see. I never believed in retirement. My focus is on building an enterprise to which I can control my lifestyle rather than the. Yeah, that strictly travels. That's a great point, man. I think a lot of that comes from having the information. Again, I want to get to your comments rather than questions rather than comments. A lot of that depends on having the information that we were lucky enough to have because we live in this modern age world with technology. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Um, um, nah, the Medicare system in Colombia is better than the United States. It's high. Well, I can't say, but I don't like saying better. It's ranked higher. Whatever that means, if that means it's better, it's better. It's ranked higher. Colombia, the system in Thailand is ranked higher than the United States. Here's the thing: what people don't understand the United States, though, if you have money, there's no other place better than the United States to get healthcare. If you have money, of course, I do have money, so the United States would be better for me because I have money. But if you have a lot of money, the United States is going to be the best healthcare you can get. But if you don't have money or you have a little bit of money, yeah, you'll get better healthcare other places. Um, Let me see. All right, so we get into your comments, questions. See if anybody else got any questions. Shout out to Carter Ford in the building. Um, I'm just going to take questions because you guys got a lot of messages and I want to show some last things. Um, Let me see. Let me see. I'm just skimming. I'm skimming through the comments to see if you guys got any questions rather than comments because um, Flyboy, you can take a margin loan account in your portfolio. Yeah, it does. I just don't like touching my portfolio, like as far as like as a portfolio together. But because I would have to put them portfolio, I have to put both of the properties together and do a trust and all that stuff. Yeah, just I don't have a trust yet, but I do plan on getting the trust for my kids when I get a little bit older. Um, right now I do have a will. I have a will. Um, I have executor and all that, but I don't have a trust yet. I'm borderline on the trust right now. I kind of want to wait till my kids are older, only because trusting mothers. It's okay. I don't trust people that much, though. I don't want to put myself in the trust as of yet, but I do plan on before passing, hopefully, to be able to put my stuff in the trust so that the will and the trust can work together to make it easier. But yeah. Hmm. Flyaway, I would love to have a discussion with you about real estate overseas. I can guest speakers from UAE and discuss real estate, compare. Strictly travels. I wouldn't do that until I own a property overseas. I'm one of the people who I like to actually be involved with it. Like if you wanted to have a discussion and about real estate in the United States, I could tell you, New Jersey, I own real estate. Been owning it since 2017. But I wouldn't have an international thing yet until I actually own. I like to have the knowledge of it. But once I do own, give me like a year or two, and we got a conversation. We got a conversation for sure. Um, uh, appreciate that, Carter. Take your time, Flyboy. The travel space need to hear shit like this. It provides balance. Let me see. Let me see. Um, Let me see. Let's see. Let's see. I'm trying to get you our comments before we get up out to the what's name. 916 says I advise you to invest in assets that will bring you higher returns, 20-30 range. That's pretty smart too if you don't have a property. You know, comb, quarter four, live around. All right, cool. I think I got to all the questions. If I didn't, my apologies. If I didn't get to your question, ask your question again while we go over this last part. We're not going to go over 3 hours. We're going to end this soon. But I want to show you guys this again. There is no MLS and multiple listing service in Colombia. There's also there's not like a Zillow where you can get a um direct price and be able to contact the realtor right away and get everything correct. But what there is a site called Finkeriz. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. And what Finkeriz is the closest thing they have to Zillow in Colombia. And to get a viewpoint of what I wanted to buy, I had to go to Finkeriz to figure out what the base price of most of the places are in Colombia, um, where I wanted to buy. Now, what I would say is the places on this website are going to be a lot more expensive because there is no MLS, because there is no Zillow. The people who have their properties on this site are going to have to pay to get their stuff on this site. So they're going to charge more money on this site than if you go and just get a realtor, which I say don't buy anything if you don't have a realtor in that city you want to buy. Never buy something off a line directly talking to the person. Always go through a realtor. I have a realtor in Barranquilla. I will probably get another one also in Barranquilla when I get there so I can have two options. Um, but this place is a great, and I think the perfect starting point to look for a place and to find the price range you're going to spend in. Now, I already have some things loaded up because I know the area I wanted to buy in Barranquilla. And the area I wanted to buy in Barranquilla is close to where I stayed multiple times when I went to Barranquilla, District 90. Now, for those that don't know, can you guys see them? Make sure you guys can still see. Cool. All right, you guys can still see. This location right by this park right here is my focal point of the whole map. Whenever I come to this map of Barranquilla and I'm looking for a property, I come to this point right here. It's just called, I think it's Venezuelan Park or something like that. But it's because it runs right into District 90, 90, Calle 90, which is where District 90 is. District 90 building is just built is right. This little complex is right here, and this is where a lot of foreigners own investment properties. The issue with District 90 building is that it's only studio apartments and 2 bedrooms, and the 2 bedrooms don't have balconies. The studio apartments they have balconies. The building is only 3 years old, and it's has security 24/7 and is perfect condition. The issue with that is if you're looking for a place long term and you want to have a place where you can have a kid and you can give to your kid and you don't want to feel squished, District 90 is not going to be the place that you're going to buy because the 2 bedrooms are going to start at like 450,000 and they're not going to have a balcony. The 1 bedrooms, however, are going to start at 330,000 and they will have balcony. I mean, it's not 1 bedrooms. The studio apartments will start at 330,000 and they will have 330 million Colombian pesos and they will have uh balconies. Here's the thing: 330 million pesos. For those that don't know, 330 million pesos, if I'm correct, is about $85,000. I could be wrong, but let me double check. How much is 330 million Colombian pesos to dollars? Right.
330 million Colombian pesos equals $83,756.35.
So 330 million pesos is about $84,000. Again, that was the maximum I was willing to spend on a place. However, I don't think that is a good investment and to spend that much. And remember, the prices are always negotiable. Never pay the price you see on this thing because it's never going to be the base price. But even if I can get a studio apartment for 70,000, 75,000, it wouldn't do what I needed to do as far as long term, having the option to have multiple people come and see me, having the option to have my kid there and maybe his mother or have other people there at the same time because it's too small of a place. So what I decided to do was look for a 2 bedroom in either strata 5 or strata 6. Now 5 is the way Colombia works. For those that don't know, is that they base the properties on different stratas. The higher the strata, the more income, the higher quality of the product of the area you live in, as well as the more money you're going to have to pay for utilities. So while you are living in a better area, quote unquote better, less impoverished area, when you stay in strata 5 or 6, you're also paying more for electricity. You're paying more for property tax to make up for the people who can't afford to pay it in strata, as well as strata 1, 2, and 3. So that all comes with something that you're going to have to understand when you're looking to buy a property in Colombia in general, not just in Barranquilla, but in Colombia in general. Now, for me, I'm going to show you some of the places that I've been looking at, and we're going to briefly do this in the next 10 minutes maximum. Um, give you a couple places I've been looking at, and hoping that when I get there and I get to that point in January when I have the money and I'm ready, hoping that these places will be still around. One, if these places are still around, I know I can negotiate the price. Two, if these places are still around, I'm going to go visit each of these places before I even make an offer on anything. Now, the first one I'm going to show you is the one that I want the most. We'll do is I'm going to show you the ones I want the most, the ones I want the most, the ones I like the most, and we're going to start with the 2 4 place. And I showed this before. I'm just showing it because we're in the view. All right. And for those that don't know, if you have an Apple computer, you can always hit translate to English so the people can understand the stuff in English. For those that don't know, let me just make sure it's going through. You guys can see that. All right, cool. So this place is the place that I wanted for as the first one. They want 340,000, but this has been on for about 2 to 3 months. Now here's the thing: a lot of times on this site, some of these places are going to be sold already. They don't take them off until like 3 months after they're sold. So this might not be available, but we're going to speak on it on all these properties as if they're available, so you guys can get a gist of how I look and how I look at things. So this property is the property that I wanted the most. It has 24-hour security, and this property is not only is it 2 bedroom, 2 bath, but it has a duplex, meaning there's an upstairs and a downstairs. Now I really appreciate that, and a balcony, because for me, I think that gives more space and there's more opportunity of what you can do. Like the upstairs has the kitchen, it has the balcony. You can see it's on the 5th or 6th floor. You can see the stairs and the rail. It seems like they might have remodeled it a little bit to up the price. The building is between 1 and 8 years old, and that was a major purpose for me. It was very important for the building to be. Matter of fact, I will only buy a building if it's between 1 and 8 years old, because what that does, it allows me at least 10 years to feel comfortable with the building being up to code before anything major has to happen. Because as you say, my experience of owning a condo in Miami helped me to understand that after like around 5 to 10 years, condos will need assessments. They will need things to get fixed. So while it is cheaper to fix the stuff in Colombia, I would rather have a place that isn't 10 years old yet. So it can at least give me at least 5 to 10 years before we have to have any major things fixed. So this is why I picked this place also. Again, a lot of stuff looks like a newer remodel. It has hot water. The space looks good. I have so many ideas what I could do with all this stuff. It looks like it might come with air conditioning as well. Um, you know, the upstairs, the downstairs, the you know, 2 bathrooms. A lot of that stuff looks pretty cool. And that was a good thing. Now the balcony, I don't know how big it is. Pause. I don't know how big the balcony is, but it really didn't matter because it's on the 5th floor and it's in section 5. Again, I'm only buying in 5 and 6. I know other people will buy in 4, other people will buy in 3. I'm just not willing to take that risk in Colombia because I feel as though when you live or even when you stay in a higher strata, the people you network with will be people who are closer. They're not going to be nowhere near you, but they're closer to where you financially are at, and you'll have more in common. I know people will say language is the biggest difference between people, but in my understanding of the world as I've traveled the world, two people can speak 2 different languages. But if they're at the same income, they have a closer connection and understanding to each other than a person who may speak the same language but is in poverty or super rich or way far away from the income. I think income is a closer determinant to how people connect around the world than language. Just my opinion. Um, so I'm sure a couple more properties will be running out of time. Let's go another favorite I have. Um, Again, the second one was also a duplex. My second favorite one was also a duplex. It just was what's the second duplex? I'm trying to find the second duplex, y'all. Is this it? Mm, no, it's not it. Okay, I can't. I'm not gonna look at. Oh, it's probably there was another page. I don't know the second one. We'll just go to this one here too. Yeah, this one is not a duplex, but it was also 325 view. Let me see. How much is 325 million Colombian pesos to dollars? It's 82 again. This one is 82, almost 83. So, again, this is just the type of two bedrooms. I want something that's already somewhat decent like this. I'll pay a little bit more of a premium to have something that's a little bit more decent, or more remodel rather. Simply because I don't want to have to do any major remodeling when I get there. It has a balcony. A balcony is very important. Two bathrooms is important. Two bedrooms is important. This looks like something that's set up already. Something that I can use. And it's also in Strata 5. It has a washer and dryer. At least it has a setup for the washer and dryer. If I wanted to buy a new washer and dryer, the view isn't great, but it's good. It's really good. It's a good view. The balcony isn't too much. Um, Again, this is something that I would very much consider as well. Even if it not being a two family. It definitely has large rooms and security and all that and stuff. So, um, yeah, that's another one. I'll show you guys one more. What's this one? Now, as you can see, all these are mostly condos, and the reason why is because if I'm not going to be living there 100% of the time, buying a condo with this is the one that's two this is two story. I got it. It's two one. All right. Is not the buying a condo is a better investment to me if I'm not going to live there. Even though I stayed in the house in Cali last time, when I just came back from Cali 2 weeks ago, I stayed in the house and it was amazing. But yeah, if I'm not gonna live there, it's different. This one also is another one I like, a little bit more expensive, still in Strata 5, but it also is a duplex. As you can see, this duplex is set up a little bit different, where the kitchen is on the first floor, the views on the first floor. It does have a balcony, but it has a washer and dryer as well. You see the second floor, you can look over, kind of like a belly. Um, Again, it has set up for kids' rooms and everything, and it has a nice view as well from the balcony, and it has a pool and a rooftop. So this one I liked also. Again, it's all about whether or not these places will be available when I get there. But I can't rush it because I have to make sure I do it right. It's more important that I do everything in the order I just spoke to you guys about, so that in January I'm sure that I have everything right, rather than trying to rush it to get it done and somewhere I miss a step and end up losing out on some money or something like that. Again, there's no guarantee everything will be right, but that's my plan. Again, y'all, I'll breeze through the comments one more time. We got about 6 minutes left. I'll breeze through the comments one more time to see if you guys got any questions. It's been a 3 hour live. I thought I was only going to go 2 hours, but it was very important for me to have this conversation with you guys. Because I told you guys I wanted to, just like I did with my Miami Beach property, just like I did when I purchased my second property where I'm at now. I'm walking people through this step by step because I want people to know that, hey, it's obtainable. I'm not some guy who had a silver fork. I had a great mother. I had a great grandparents, great aunts and uncles. Even with my mother being in and out the mental institution, even with me moving to non-schools in 12 years, moving from my grandparents' house, because I didn't have a a mentality where I could be listening to somebody. I moved out on my own at 18 years old. Even with all of that, this is so possible. I'm no different from everybody else. There's more people in this world like me than people who are not. So again, this is the reason why I share this with you guys. Hopefully, even if this doesn't help one person, this will help my kids, my great grandkids, my great grandkids, because I think in the future, not many more generations are going to have an opportunity to do what we have now. As bad as it sounds, as difficult as it sounds to get to certain financial statuses, I think it's going to be 10 times more difficult for the people that come behind us. So let me get to your comments real quick, and then we're gonna get about here. Um, let's see. Um, hmm, let's see, Flyboy. Yeah, the department definitely was fire, yo. I like them too, y'all. Again, the audio might be choppy because my voice is getting kind of bad now. I've been on for 3 hours speaking. Um, but again, shout out to Tripping with Jay in the building, y'all. TLR, what's going on, TLR? Um, AI, what up, man? Let's make sure I shout everybody out. D Monster. Okay, okay. All right, y'all. So I appreciate you guys for coming to this live. If you've missed this live or you're just joining the live, you can go back and watch it. Again, this live is free. It'll be up. Um, and just tracking my progress, y'all. So again, it's your boy FRE $H Fresh at the Flyboy Way. That's TheFlyBoy. Don't ask why, just check out the channel. And this has been a Money Talk Mondays. I'll see you on the next video. Peace.